Aurora.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Mythical Family Game Night. And tonight, we're going to continue our... I need to remember I got my laptop here, but the camera's up there. We're continuing our For the Dungeon short run game. And it's been fun, and it's going to be a lot more fun, I think. We do have a slight player shuffle this week. We have the same folks from last week. One person was not able to join us this week, and that was, I forget the character's name, but that was Jillian. And her little...
Godo.
That's right, Go. That's right, Godo. The aspiring raptor kobold.
Now we're waiting for Godot.
So, joining us this week is James. He is a local game creator that we have met through our local networking here. I have play tested or demoed. I keep saying play tested. I have demoed the game that he has authored. We'll be working with him in the future, and Mythical Family hopes to bring you some content and videos or gaming playthroughs, tutorial type stuff explaining the system that James has built and the gaming world he's putting together with it. I have played it. I've played 2 sessions of it, and it's a lot of fun. It's a very cool system. Mechanically, it's very narrative driven, which I like. It's less crunch and more about the effect of what you're doing and whether or not you're successful, and the engaging narrative of what you're actually doing. So the visuals and the explanations and getting into your actions and how they're successful or how they're not. So I had a lot of fun with it, and James is with us today, and he's going to be one of our rascally little kobolds, kobold fungus farmers that are suffering through the life of being cave-dwelling experience bubbles. So all of the characters are returning. James is bringing a new character to the mix, who is a well-known kobold around the tribe, and that is Chomper, I believe.
Greetings, Chomper.
Yes.
He is one of the small yet ferocious kobolds that is very protective of the tribe, and we'll get into the character descriptions here in just a moment. As far as Mythical Family news, we are continuing to work on the new studio space, so we'll be doing that transition here hopefully in the next few weeks. It's been a long running project. There's a couple of big things that still need to be done, but I'm working on getting that stuff done this upcoming week. I don't know what kind of downtime the channel will have during the move. We don't have a lot of redundant equipment, so when we start moving things, it's going to be an all or nothing process. So when we start unplugging things and moving things, we're not going to be able to be live again until everything is moved and everything is set up. So we obviously want to keep that window as narrow as possible. However, we'll have to see. We're moving into a new space and setting it up the way we want to, and I don't know what kind of hurdles we're going to have. So technology is already in place as far as our bandwidth. We don't have the pipeline that we're blessed with here. We have an incredible connection where we are right now. So we're going to be seeing how that impacts what we do as well. On another random note, next month is Meeple Peak Board Game Convention, which is a new local convention for the gaming community here in the Reno area. It's actually in Carson City, and this is the second year. Last year was its inaugural year, and we were there last year. We didn't have much of a presence because being a new convention, it sort of flew under our radar. I didn't find out about it until the week of. So I only had about 3 days to get ready. So we basically just showed up, walked around, talked to all the vendors, got some footage. We intended to live stream from the event and share that. However, the venue they're in, it's a tornado shelter or something. It's a bunker. It's we were live streaming outside. Everything was just fine. We were having problems inside, so we went outside. Everything was fine. We were live streaming. Things were good. The moment my wife, with the camera, stepped over the threshold of the building, it was like a guillotine fell. There was no buffering. There was no stuttering. No, it was just gone. So it's built sturdy, and it's sort of an accidental Faraday cage, I think. So
by chance?
What was that?
Saying the Carson Nugget by chance?
No, it's actually in an events center in a park near the Costco, and it's like it's about 3 stories tall, but it's a single. There's no stories to it. It's just a really tall warehouse type thing. Mm-hmm. It's built like an airplane hangar, but it's a bomb shelter.
I'm familiar. I'm familiar with the building. It makes sense that you had no signal.
I'm not sure if we'll be able to get around that, but at the very least, we will be getting some footage and putting some VODs up of them. We're going to actually run some events this year and have an actual presence there and host some things. We didn't get to do that last year because it was all we could do to get there. So this year we were watching for it, and we're going to be there and run some events and have Mythical Family support the local gaming community by supporting this convention, because local events like this, whether or not it's the type of gaming you like to engage in, it's good to support them in your local community, because all it does is support the entire gaming community in your area. This is largely board and card game heavy. There's even puzzle building and stuff that's there. A lot of that isn't really in my wheelhouse. I'm definitely a role player at heart, and I like a lot of the new board games that are coming out, but anything that helps expand and build a community in your local gaming community is good for all of the gamers in the area. So it's good to support it, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go. We're going to have some presence, and we're going to try to do our best to make it a bigger, better event, and hope it stays and hope it grows. The folks that put it on are very nice people, and everybody we met there last year was having a great time seeing new games and meeting new people that have a similar interest, which is the perfect thing and what it's all about. Yeah, I think that's it for Mythical Family News. We should be back to... Not sure where our gaming schedule is going, actually. So I'm not going to make any promises there. Next Sunday, we're doing this one more time, at least, because it has been fun. It's a lot of fun to run. It's really fun with an energetic group of people like this to game with. So we're going to have fun with that. At least next week. If it doesn't continue past that, it will definitely come back at some point. Again, to reiterate from last time, Ryan is a returning face for the stream. He's one of the folks that has been with Mythical Family since we started streaming. Nick and Frosty are from Frosty's streaming channel, Andromeda Adventures, which is a channel that we're doing some collaborative stuff with, including 2 of the Mythical Family members. Myself and one other person will be in a Star Trek game that will be streamed on that channel as a collaboration. And James, who's joining us tonight, I'd actually like to give a moment to talk about his game. But he is a local game creator that has authored a game called Blood, Sweat, and Steel. And he's pardon me, I'm talking more than I usually do. You'd think I'd be used to this by now, but I'm not. That I did play a 2-session demo of and had a lot of fun with it. But James, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell people a little about the product that you made, I'd love to give you the platform to do so.
I'll keep it brief because I'm really dying to play. So basically, it's a sword and sorcery tabletop RPG. It's built on the Fudge game engine, which is also spawned Fate Core and Fate Accelerated and various iterations of that. It's a sword and sorcery game, so it's human centered. It's got a very freeform sorcery system. It does have some freeform traits as well, kind of like aspects in Fate, which kind of makes the characters a little more unique. It lets you kind of put your own spin on the characters. It doesn't have just quick highlights on it. It doesn't use hit points. It doesn't use initiative. It uses simultaneous actions for resolving conflict, and there's no damage rolls, or it uses a nonlinear wound system. So each time you get hurt, there's actually specific consequences for that type of a wound, and that helps the players be able to describe the results. It's one of the things that I wanted to make about the game is the winner gets to describe what happens. A lot of times in the games, the GM basically interprets the roles and kind of tells you what happened in the scene. But in this game, the players are allowed to sort of describe the exchange how they want to describe it. And it is a little bit more of a narrative game in that sense, but it's got combat stances, and it's got enough crunch for people that like a tactical fight. But it is a little bit different because it uses simultaneous actions instead of initiative. So it's a weird one to get used to, but most people seem to like it once they kind of get used to how everything works together. So that's probably about it on that.
I had a lot of fun with it. I like the system quite a bit.
Thank you.
So it'll be fun to do more with that. I need to do one thing with the overlay, so I need to step away real quick. I'm not going to change screens or anything, but if video is going to keep dancing, then I need to turn names off. So hold on a second.
Everybody change places.
My favorite kind of fire drill.
Right.
That'd be an interesting thing to do for a tabletop. Just in the middle of a game, just everyone rotates and someone else has to be the GM.
Oh,
and you all just switch characters.
Yeah. The characters stay and then people have to move.
Yeah.
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 Now you got an idea for a mythical family live stream.
Yeah.
the fire drill one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had a little Easter egg going when Ryan was part of the Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern thing. I don't know that anybody specifically mentioned noticing it before we tipped it off, but Ryan would switch where he was sitting each week and just kind of rotate around the circle and not be in the same place 2 weeks in a row, just to see whether or not anybody would see that he was floating around. His name tag and everything moved with him, but he just sort of did the circuit of the gaming seats.
Nice.
Alrighty, so I have good enough light on me for the stream, so I'm not going to turn. I think I'm going to wash out if I turn any of these other lights on. Oh, that's terrible. That's not any good either. You can still see me. Okay. All right. Alrighty, so the tribe of kobold fungus farmers, when we last left them, had to deal with the threat of a giant mole sort of wandering the tunnels and getting way, way too close to their encampment. Not only did the steadfast young kobolds defeat the threat, but they brought the threat home. And
as a zombie.
Yes. So
it's a friend.
Wadsworth, the giant undead mole, he's still around. The magic that you used on it was very powerful. He has taken a couple of cuts and bruises and whatnot, and he's obviously not healing. But part of the power of the magic that you use to reanimate him, he's sort of preserved. He's not actually continuing to rot. He's not healing, but he seems to be fairly well preserved in his current state. So he will be around basically until he's nicked apart or until something destroys him.
Well, if nothing else, I at least have a talent for taxidermy.
And I got to write down one more thing. Actually, what I need is the sheet. I lost the sheet that had everybody's names on it because I needed it for the overlay. All right. Too unorganized when I'm running everywhere. Okay. So, I got to add James.
The only problem with Wadsworth is he's not very good at rock, paper, scissors.
Again, you mentioned this thing called scissors, and I don't know what you're talking about.
You did try to integrate him into rock paper scissors night, and he doesn't seem to get it. You get excited, then he tries to bite somebody, and it didn't quite work. So after a couple of tries, poor Wadsworth has been blackballed from rock paper scissors. Needing somebody new, and since Wadsworth is unable to take the seat, though, Yarp did get his chance to join rock paper scissors night finally.
Yes, it's good.
Once it was determined that the undead mole wasn't a fit. So, it has been a few weeks since that last event. Everything has been more or less quiet, except for the dangers of duck ranching, and those guys are always cranky. They still don't like you, and they get reminded why they don't like you every time Wadsworth comes through town for whatever reason. So, the duck ranchers are still, you're not popular with them.
I'm not happy about the duck recycling initiative.
No, that hasn't worked out. Now, again, for the sake of convenience, the tribe mostly knows each other. You guys are familiar with Chomper. You know Chomper. You are the new character at the table, so if you would like to give a brief description of Chomper and how people know him and basically what he does around the tribe, so that folks know what they're working with, that would be good. And we will recap everybody's characters just for the stream and for everybody here.
Sure thing. Well, Chopper, he likes a fight, and he's a little high strung. He's sometimes pretty violent, but he's also very protective of his people. He sees himself as that's his job. He makes sure that nobody gets hurt. So I'm there to just kind of watch out for everybody.
Okay, you've had to intervene with a few fights where people are unhappy about Wadsworth.
Absolutely.
And let's just start at the top of my screen. Nick, remind everybody who Zip is.
Well, Zip is just the best kobold in the entire village. A 3.5-foot tall giant of a kobold with a wonderful feathered hat who just knows he ventured outside of the cave into lands beyond and gained great knowledge about adventurers in the world outside. And he will use that knowledge for the betterment of the village, I think. For the most part, he is in very high standing, but it's not exactly clear what he does here. Other than sit and observe, but he's very good at sitting. And he has a small myconid assistant called Kip. That's about it.
Alrighty. And Yarp.
Yarp is simple kobold. He's small, he's scaly, he wears his apron, he makes tools to keep his people safe. He's a kobold of the people. He's simple. He's Yarp.
He's Yarp. He's Yarp. He's in your head.
Well, hopefully this is bag of nails in your head. Maybe driven by hammer.
And last but not least, Naz.
Nazazarath is a really interesting member of the Kobold tribe. He mostly keeps to himself with his little bag of dead things, and which are his friends, and he's always trying to make new friends and find new ways to help the tribe. In one particular way was to create the duck recycling initiative, trying to recycle ducks, but he can't get them to lay eggs after he's brought them back. It's a puzzle he's working on. He is sort of dark and scroungy, he's got little glowing eyes, and he's covered in bits of the glowing fungus, as he achieved strange enlightenment by eating the glowing fungus and allowed him to commune with the dead things. He walks around with his cloak of rat fur over his dark scales and a little large femur bone from some giant of a creature that has clearly blessed him. At least he believes so. And he's the host of Rock, Paper, Scissors Night. We're still trying to figure out the whole scissors thing, and Chomper somehow seems to always throw rock and win. I'm not entirely sure how the game works, but we have fun.
I have a solution to that. He throws rock and wins because he throws it at your head and knocks you out.
That
And
is
thereby he
usually how
wins
it
the
goes.
game.
What works, right? As long as there's a W in the column.
Right.
Alrighty, so you guys have had a couple of weeks since your last excitement. Nothing new has really popped up. Just the daily life of listening to the awful cacophony of quacks and squeaks and whatnot that a herd of ducks living in a cave would make. And the trials and tribulations of fungus farming. There is the regular guard contingent for the tribe. There isn't anybody in the tribe that is specifically posted as a guard. Everybody has stuff to do. Everybody fixes things or mends things or harvests or whatnot. And when there is a threat, everybody grabs their pointed stick and defends the tribe. So there isn't anybody that's always standing guard or has nothing to do but watch a cave and wave a stick at spiders kind of thing. So there's just not that much activity. You guys are deep in this cave system, and when somebody does find their way out, they usually hurry back because it's really bright and it's really wide and it's very open and makes little kobolds feel very vulnerable being outside. So they tend not to go. There are threats that wander into the cave. There is a horrible fish-eating furry monstrosity that takes very long naps that likes to live in one of the caves that's very near the outside. It has been there for generations. Sometimes it's gone and people can get in and out of the cave and sort of pilfer the bones that are left in its cave. But whenever it's around, it's an unstoppable monstrosity. It's essentially a force of nature. So the kobolds stay clear of that. Which one was I going to do first? You do have one troublesome sort of. He's one of the fungus herders. He herds the myconoids, the actual fungus that can move, and keeps them sort of working, and he farms them. And you guys have a cave where he's sort of the fungi shepherd, and he has a spot where he usually keeps his herd all the time, his little flock of fungus, and he likes to stay up there and not return home for a day or two at a time. He usually comes back to make sure that the tribe knows that he's okay, and to bring back the bounty of his fungus farming, and to restock, get his fresh water, and he doesn't want to always eat the fungus that he's picking up. He likes some of the things that are made by the local kobold cooks and whatnot. So he does keep in touch, but even as far as kobolds go, as a very tribal and communal type social creature, he's a bit of a hermit, and he's not been seen for a couple of days. And since the last time there was any kind of excitement, the group of you guys handled the threat of what became Wadsworth. You guys have sort of been pulled together to just go check on him. They want you to go check on Fizbib and see whether or not he's gotten sick, or if his Boulder forbid that his myconoids have turned on him, because that would just be a terrible way to go. But they want you to go check on him, and since your buddy Godo isn't around anymore, they're going to send you with a little bit of muscle. They're going to send you with Chomper, who you guys know. But just in case there's trouble, if somebody's got to punt some myconoids around, you've got a little bit of backup for it. But it's actually about half a day's walk in these caverns to get up and around to where he's got a little grove that he keeps his flock of myconoids.
Yeah. Chomper, if you need to punt a myconoid, you could always just use Kip here. I mean, he's very willing to be punted. Right, Kip?
Kip bites your foot.
I do like teamwork.
No. Or kicking at Kip. Okay. So all of you here, it seems we have a case of a missing man. A missing comrade as such. And I know that we will never leave a man behind unless danger pokes its head or it seems mildly scary or otherwise difficult to recover him. So, all that considered, I propose Chomper go first.
I will take the lead. I will protect
I
you
don't
all.
think this Fizbin likes me very much. He doesn't come around for rock, paper, scissors night. Do you think if we help him, he'll be our friend? Do you think we could get him in on game night?
Yes. I'm certain of it. As long as you go right after Chomper and before me.
Very well. Me and Wadsworth will take up Chomper's flank.
Excellent. And I will be right in the back, just following and surveying and making sure you all are doing a good job.
That's so brave of you. I've heard sneaky creatures like to ambush from behind.
Yes, right. Right. Ooh. Kip, you take the rear. I will bravely go right in front of you just in case they do attack from the rear.
Second.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Just for planning purposes, Wadsworth is a big and strong giant mole zombie. It's got all of the awareness and senses you would expect from a zombie, so just remember he's not a guard dog.
Oh, he's my friend.
And yeah, okay.
We're going on an adventure together.
Okay. He's also quite large, and depending on the tunnels you go through, that may be problematic, but you know that he doesn't have any problem waiting for however long. So, but he can definitely go with you at least on the first part of this journey. You're not sure if it'll be a problem later.
Sounds good.
Okay. And it's just a few hours walk up through the caverns. Your Zip, you're the one given with specific directions to the place. But what I do want you to do, because of your character, is I want you to make a cunning ploy check, and I want you to. You can debate whatever personality traits you think might play into this, but I want you to test to see if you're smart enough to actually take the directions, or if your overconfidence makes you, we'll be fine.
I'm gonna say, hey, Kip, you, because all myconoids know each other, right? So you obviously can lead us to this myconoid colony. So I am going to take some of your advice for once, but I'm not going to listen to it too carefully. So I just want to make sure you bite me if I'm going in the wrong direction. Because honestly, I need everybody here to know that I'm the best with directions. So I'm gonna invoke my praise me and Kip the myconid to try and come up with the directions to the place.
Okay.
So I believe we have to go right and then right and then right and then right. And eventually, if we follow the walls, we're going to end up in the place we need to go to because labyrinths work like that. And I rolled a 3 and a 1. So that's a critical failure as I get us terribly lost.
Great
So
start.
no, what that means for what I was testing you with is you get the instructions, but you're only interested in getting them verbally, like getting the oral instructions. You're not interested in taking the written instructions because you don't want to be caught with notes. You know what you're doing.
Of course I do.
So you
Yes.
leave confident that you're going to remember these instructions. So
I'm sure this is the direction. They said to go right, right? They said that if we go right, we'll be right. But if we go left, we'll be right. So we have to go right. Otherwise, we'll be left behind.
Which one's right again?
The left.
I'm going to do
Hold
this
your hand up. It's supposed to make a letter.
and say, I'm going to look, okay, so the L would be left.
What's
That's
an
what
L?
that's what they want me to think. So this is right. I'm gonna-
what's left in Kobold?
Wait, but if you hold up your hands again, and then, okay, see, but it makes an L on this side if I am looking at it. But when I make an L in mine, and then it makes it on the other side. So which
Why
one
don't-
is left?
I have
Here's
a
what we
better
do.
idea.
We make a
Way
square.
to read.
And then we just go in whatever direction we want to. So I say we go backwards. Just look, listen to me. This is a well-known trait of adventurers. You always, as you say, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But obviously, if you just take all steps backwards, you're going in the right direction. So we just have to walk backwards the entire way. And I'm just gonna turn and start walking backwards.
I lost it.
Uh-oh.
And they've gone.
Oh dear. Apparently, I really fucked that one up. I lost the DM, guys. That's how badly I got us lost. I went so far off track, the DM doesn't know where we are anymore.
Right. Let's go find us.
Still confidently
think I have an
walking
idea.
backwards.
Better than walking
Folks,
backwards.
this is
to
why we're
find the
going
right
to Zoom.
direction.
So
What's your idea, Naz? It better be good.
I
'cause my
thought
idea
that
is
if you spin a nail, it'll stop and face north. So if we use one of Yarp's nails and we spin it in a circle, whichever direction it points when it stops, that's north, and then we just go right of that.
This makes sense, yeah. And I pull out my nail and just spin it.
all right. Because of the energy level here, you guys are going to make me take notes. Awesome. Okay. I love it. Okay. So you head out in the correct direction to start with because, well, the tribe's going to make sure of that. And you're in good hands from there because you've got Zip, who they seem to have a very insistent conversation with right before you leave. But Zip comes back quite confident and things are in control. So you guys do march up a fairly large, it's an old lava chute type tunnel, so it's kind of wide, and it's still tall for you guys, but it's a little low. Wadsworth doesn't have any problems getting through, but if it were much lower, it might slow him down a little. There's a little water flowing down through it. There's the usual cave lichen and fungus around. There's not anything moving about in these caverns right now, but it's sloping upward toward where you're supposed to be going. And the cavern where the Myconoid rancher keeps his flock is one of those places that you usually need special permission to go. They don't let a lot of people go visit him. You assume it's just because he's cranky, but it's just you guys have always known that there's always a kobold specifically designated and selected to have this role, and they're one of the only people that have permission to come up here. So you do head up the cave. It winds upward and stays mostly straight. It jigs and kind of goes back and forth a little bit, but it's a fairly straight direction. It doesn't twist a lot. But then it does get to a spot where part of the cavern has broken away on the right-hand side, and you can see that you're overlooking another large cavern. There's no trouble getting around it or anything. It just looks like at some point the cavern and this tunnel have sort of intersected a little bit. So there's a large opening that just sort of looks out into this dark cavern. You can hear water trickling way down below you, but other than that, it's just pitch black, and you're not sure what's down there. If you guys keep moving, then you get to a spot where the cavern sort of levels out slightly, and it doesn't feel like you're walking uphill anymore. And then there's a branch that sort of goes back down to the right, and the one you've been following seems to take a fairly sharp, like 45-degree sharp left. So you come to your first fork, and well, Kip, you know where to go. Where are you going?
Well, obviously, when one comes to a fork in the road, one must not leave behind all the knowledge you took with you. So, obviously, the right direction to go is the right direction, and so we should go right, but that's what the fork wants us to do. So I would say go left. That's going to be my cunning ploy advice based on all the knowledge I've gathered from adventurers over the years. That when the road wants you to go to the right, you go to the left.
Okay. So you're going left? Okay.
Yes.
All right. You head
I
left.
confidently go to the left. Well, I confidently tell the group to go to the left. I am not going first.
Okay. All right. So left is the decision, though. Or is there going to be okay. All right. So I want Chomper and Chomper and Zip. Make look around checks. And if you got any traits you think would help with your general awareness,
I think Kip
give me
would
the
help
sales
me
pitch.
because I believe that Kip is more sensitive and attentive than I am, generally speaking. So I'm gonna trust Kip's eyes here.
Can I use my motivation to protect the pack?
I will give you that because I'm going to assume you're on extra alert to protect people. So I'll give you that. Kip.
It's the only reason I'm here.
This one. You have something else you can throw in there, Zip?
Kip can't help with this, or he can?
Kip isn't going to help you with this one.
All right, then I don't. So that's 3.
Okay.
I got 2 5s.
Okay. So, all right, with a 5, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm not going to have you. Yeah, I'm simply going to dictate it because I had you make the roll. So, what happens as you guys are moving? There's lots of scuffling. You've got a giant mole with you. You've got a little myconoid who doesn't make a lot of noise, but he is hopping in the cave. Something catches your ear, Chomper, that doesn't. There's like a new noise in the pack, and you're not sure what it is. And you stop for a moment, which sort of has everybody else stop for a second, and you turn around just in time to see a well, we're gonna go with something different just to be a caterpillar type creature that's probably about as tall as a dog to you. It's about 1.5 feet tall, and it is reared up in the cave behind Kip and Zip. And they,
Look
Kip and
out!
Zip, seem to be looking at you, going,
I just yelled, "Look out!" And I'm just going to charge like straight at the thing. And if I have to
Okay.
bust people out of my way,
Emperor's
I'm going
turned
to
on
bust
us.
people
Get
out
out of the way.
of the way. Can I use
and
the
yeah,
get
that's
move?
okay. So what talents do you have that'll help you play with that?
Nobody harms my family is my talent. My tool is a human dagger that I use as a sword. My motivation is protect the pack, and I have a perk protective. But I think that's only if someone's being attacked, right? That I would
Let's
use
look
the
at
perk.
the actual wording of the perk.
I'm being attacked.
Just a second to find that, because this is, let's see, it's page 22 where that stuff starts.
It's on 26, Joe.
Okay, perfect. 426. PDF reader is cranky. Protective. When an ally would take harm, describe how you would protect them and make a roll. Yeah, that's a reactionary thing.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I guess the nobody
you
harms
get-
my family and
Yeah,
and
so
protect the pack. Does that work?
yeah, and you've got the dagger, so that sounds like you actually have 3 dice to attack this thing.
Woohoo!
And there's lots of yelling, and there's a sudden commotion, Zip, and you see Chomper running right at you with a big nasty dagger, 2-handed dagger.
How? I squeal in a very manly fashion, and I jump out of the way. I go, ah, and I just like leap.
Oh,
Okay.
I got a 4 and a 1 and a 1.
Okay. Well, you got a 4. So you can choose to either not take harm yourself, to deal a point of harm, or to move the thing, or to. Well, there's nothing to take from the caterpillar.
I can
You
move
get
it
to pick
back a
one
little bit.
result from the chart. Yeah, instead of stabbing it, you can push it back or try to knock it over. Yeah.
I want to do that first because I don't know how dangerous this thing is yet. So I'm just trying to kind of get some separation between it and my pack. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to just basically try to drive it back. Like, get back, get back.
Okay.
It's a deadly
visual.
cattle worm. It eats stuff.
For visual, since we're all veteran gamers here, it's you can visualize basically like a small carrion crawler.
Ah, okay.
So, all right. So you run up. Zip barely gets out of your way. He's a little flustered at first that you're charging at him, making such a commotion, and he gets out of your way. And you decide to move the thing and protect your pack. So instead of stabbing it, what you do is you hit the thing and push it to the side. And it's it's sort of up on its haunches like a caterpillar, and you tip it to the side, and it's going to have to right itself before it can do anything.
Okay. Get back, everyone.
And then we're just going to rotate like we did before. So it is going to take its action to sort of get up on its feet. I am going to. I don't normally roll, but I am going to give myself a 1-die roll just to see if it knocks Chomper around. It does not. It was basic. I was just going to give it a chance to actually knock you on your butt while it was wiggling around too, but it does not. So who wants to go next, and what do they want to do?
Let's restrain it. cattle worms are weak to webbing. So I would like to try and create an advantage for Yelp by pulling out a dead spider from my bag of dead things and squeezing it really hard to create rope to pass to him.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm going to maliciously repurpose this spider web and just
Okay.
weave a web myself to throw onto
right.
it.
Oh, Naz, make a cunning ploy check. You've got your bag of parts. What else do you have that will help you with this?
So I've also
Bag
got
of
my
dead
spool of
things.
wire.
Mhm.
I've got my
Uh,
yes.
I've got that I am a necromancer and my bag of dead things. I don't think this has anything to do with making friends.
I'm not entirely sure it has a lot to do with necromancy if you're just going to squeeze the webbing out of the thing.
I've got to bring it back to life to get it the web to be fresh and sticky.
Okay. I'll give you that. Roll
Definitely,
2 dice, see what you get.
we're also definitely making a new friend out of this worm.
Well, I'm glad I didn't stab him.
Oh, he could have been a friend either way.
Would one of you be able to roll for me? My roll 20 just crashed.
I've got it.
So I'm going to make
That's
a
a
2 die
4 and
roll.
a 6.
Okay. All right. So, 6. All right. So you temporarily create a new trait. The new trait is Yarp. You now have the resource of a usable wad of webbing.
I take the usable wad.
That's a euphemism, everybody watching at home.
I'm going to take the usable or Yarp is going to take the usable wad in his hand, and just make sure that he can spread his sticky wad as far and wide as he can, making a net and basically he's going to make like a big old fishing net with the sticky wad at the end, and the rest of it just kind of put together out of like wire and like a stick he found on the ground.
Okay.
Just so he can
So
catch the bug.
okay.
He'll make a butterfly
So
net.
roll your malicious repurposing, and you've got the added resource that you're using for the sticky wad.
So that'd be 3d6, 2d6.
Malicious repurposing, and you're using the webbing. What else have you got?
I've got my tools, which is the wire.
You use the wire. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Roll 3. See what you get.
That's going to be a 6, a 5, and a 4.
Nice roll. All right. So 6. Yeah. So you have created with that the net that you can use to attempt to restrain this thing.
Yep. And then I believe it gets a turn, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a what?
I think the caterpillar may get a turn, but if that's not the case, I'm going to actually hand this net that I've made over to Chomp. It's Chomp, right?
Chomper.
Chomper. May hand it to Chomper because he seems more competent in actually getting close to dangerous things. Yarp will just come. I have made a tool for you.
And he
All right.
he hands you what looks like a really, really long butterfly net made out of sticky webbing. It's got a handle and it's got a wire loop, and then just this disgusting sheet of webbing. But it looks like it's huge and would make a mess if you hit something with it. Whatever you end up hitting with it. So
All righty. I'm
What
gonna
do you-
head up there close to try to get as close as I can, and then I'm gonna try to catch it.
Okay. Well, for this turn, the last person to go is Zip. What are you doing?
Friends, I've heard of this creature. I believe it is called a jitterbug, and we have to put the boom boom into its heart and send its soul sky high. But before we do that, you have to know it's a love bug, and the only way to catch a love bug is with a net. So I propose Chomper dive at it head first, like you're embracing its love, and just throw the net over its head, because apparently that's what the adventurers do. And I'm just going to try and create an advantage by confidently talking about these song lyrics that I have heard as if they are actual advice for subduing a caterpillar. I'm hoping everybody praises me for my knowledge.
Alrighty.
You have to
So,
embrace
roll your
you
ploy.
have to embrace the love bug to catch
You
it
have
with
to-
your sticky wand.
You have to embrace the love bug with your sticky wad. Yes, that is my point. A 5 and a 1, so that's at least a 5.
Okay. So yeah. If you do that as your next action, diving at this thing head first for whatever that does get you, it will give you an extra die. You are inspired, essentially, that spearing this thing is the way to wrap it up.
Chomper looks back. Chomper looks back at Zip, kind of admiringly, like a lieutenant who just heard a rousing speech from a general, and he's feeling great. And he trusts Zip implicitly with all of his ideas. He thinks he's the smartest kobold he's ever met. So he's like, he gives him a nod. I won't let you down. And he makes his charge. Would that be avoid danger? Like attempt something without regard for consequences? Or is that? Or I don't know what I'm doing. I know I'm trying to cast the thing, but I don't know which move I'm using.
It's going to be a get violent, and essentially what I'm going to have you do, if you want to restrain this thing, you're going to need to use the get them out of the way result.
Okay.
But you're going to need a total of 3 of those results to restrain this thing.
Gotcha. And I'm rolling 46 total.
Yes,
Does that
and
mean-
the best you can do if you roll a 6 and you select it twice is you can get 2 in one turn. It's going to take you a little bit of activity to actually get this thing tangled up to restrain it. Because
Gotcha.
it's also not like giant spider webbing or anything. This is just like large cave spider.
We can all help you with it, though, by which
Gotcha.
I mean the others will do it.
Okay, so 46, right?
Yes,
All right, here we go.
because it's a temporary trait. Yep.
That's awful.
Oh my god, you're terrible. You suck so bad.
What'd you get?
A 3, a 2, a 3, a 2, 3, 2,
Well,
3,
hold
4.
on. Hold on. Those are D4s, not D6s.
Oh, I rolled the wrong thing. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, that'll help. That's really hamstringing yourself.
2 6s.
Oh,
I did good.
So you did get at least 1 6?
I got 2 6s, a 5, and a 3.
Okay, nice roll. So with the 6, you can select 2 things from the chart. You can either choose to get it out of the way and get one of your 3 results, or you can do that twice. However, you might get injured, or you can choose to not take harm and get 1 result.
Well,
One
the
restraint.
job is to restrain. If there's a risk, there's risk. If I get hurt, I get hurt. But I'm going to do my job because I don't want to let Zip down.
Okay. So
Good job, Private.
this thing is thrashing around. You jump at it. You get, actually, because of the way it's moving and it's coming after you, you do get it quite tangled in this mess. It's not quite restrained, but you've got 2 of the 3 results that you need from it. You do take 2 points of harm
Ouch.
as it bites and sort of rolls on you while you're doing this. So roll a d6.
You could use zeal to avoid that, though, right? Like,
The zeal is to avoid the death if it kills it.
oh, gotcha.
So 1d6.
Roll a d6 and you need to roll over a 2.
4.
Okay. So you are a little banged up, but it's not fatal.
Part of the
The
job.
way damage works is the damage is just going to add up, and each time you take damage, you have to roll over that damage If you don't, then you die. At that point, when you fail that death check, you can use a point of zeal to stave off death for now.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, so
I'll go next.
that was anybody else can go next. That was essentially the caterpillar's turn.
Naz will reach into his bag of dead things and pull out a whole bunch of dead bees and kind of whisper into their ears, "Umoy goi goi fighties out," and then looking at it, the bees will get up and fly, and he'll say, "Eldritch Sting."
Okay.
And I'll do harm.
Okay. Do your get violent. And you can use your necromancy and your bag of
Bag
parts.
of dead things.
Bag of dead things. I keep calling it a bag of parts.
A 5 and a 6.
Nice. Okay, so with the 6, you get 2 results.
I will do harm with no repercussions because it's at range.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so all of these bees start whipping and stinging at this thing, and it is unhappy, which also distracts it enough that it doesn't do any more harm to you right now, Chomper. You get the feeling that it was quite angry and was probably going to come at you again, but it is distracted by these bees that came out of nowhere. All right. Zip. Yarp.
Are we killing this thing or catching this thing?
Why can't we do both?
No, in the game of chess, you can never let your adversary see your pieces. I say we checkmate this thing and score a touchdown. And I'm gonna pick Kip up and throw him like a football to try and knock it out to restrain it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and use Kip as a missile, a non-lethal missile to just
Sort of knock it into more of the webbing.
Yeah. We'll get a touchdown. 4, and I'm gonna throw Kip at it.
Okay. So what are you using? You've got Kip. What
I'm
else you
doing do harm, and this is not. I don't think this is enough of a plan, but I'm trying to aggrandize myself as much as possible in the eyes of my fellow kobolds, because obviously, if I succeed at this, I'll be a hero again and again and again. That's a 6 and a 3. That's a 6.
Okay. All right. So you want to
restrain
it and then not take harm?
Correct.
Okay. So that means Kip doesn't take harm. Kip does knock it back into more of the webbing, and as it twists to try to get up, it seems to be stuck in all of this stuff, and the cave worm and Kip seem to be restrained for the moment.
Hey, stop laying about there. This is no time to get lazy, goddammit.
Jumper, finish it off so we can make it a friend later.
Jumper, don't kill Kip unless you have to.
You mean the big worm, right?
Either.
Kip is his myconoid sidekick.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So the worm, not the shroom.
Correct.
All right. Do I have
Either.
to roll for anything for that since it's restrained, or?
No, it's fully restrained. If you want to dispatch this thing, you've got a dagger. It's messy and noisy, but yeah, you can put it out. It was actually pretty hurt already, so.
All right. So with a nice gesture, everyone is safe. I feel good. Just one nice slow stab into the top. I don't want to be too violent to everybody. I just want to do the job, and I'll hop off and clean off my blade.
Okay.
I think
make an avoid danger check. Whatever you think you have that might help your sort of physical dexterity, just to make sure you don't get stuck in any of the webbing.
I don't think I really have anything that will help me. So 1d6, right?
1d6, and 6s are not 6.
6.
Okay, so that's good enough. It's you've got this sort of sticky webbing stuff all over you. It might be problematic later if it becomes comedically convenient, but you get a. If otherwise, you're fine. I'm
Actually,
just
I
going to put
want
a pin in
to.
that, and it may come back.
So I'm covered in sticky wad.
I think Yarp would come in with this, now that Chomper is covered in the sticky wad, and just try and massage the sticky wad into the wounds that Chomper previously received to make more of a makeshift band-aid.
Hey, what are you doing?
Okay.
Oh, that feels good.
I think this may be a cunning ploy to reduce the amount of harm that Chomper has.
We can go ahead and do that. What are you using for traits?
So I
Do
have,
you, do you have a trait that's like make this not safe for work or something? Because that's sort of what I'm getting from this.
I don't. It's just I conveniently have a sticky wad. But I think this really is a malicious repurposing of the sticky wad.
If you were trying to make it dangerous, I would give that to you. Go ahead and roll a d6.
Dangerous
Let's see
for
what
all the
happens.
children watching this show right now.
How many dice do I roll? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Just
quite
one
hear
for
you.
now.
Okay.
And Nez is just conspicuously moving the dead thing into his bag of friends.
Well,
A
that's gonna be
six.
that's a 6.
Would you-
So
That's a 6? Okay.
Yep.
That's good enough that we'll go ahead and reduce your damage by 1, sort of like it was a first aid check.
Okay.
You do feel gross and slightly violated,
it's fine. We rub some dirt.
but you're bleeding much less.
Yes, indeed. I've heard a sticky wad can cure all sorts of ailments.
It is some of the best medicine.
I feel much better.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course.
So yeah, and again for comedic effect, while this is going on, you guys do notice that there's a lot of sort of heavy lifting and grunting, like somebody trying to move a couch by themselves, and
Maybe if I put my leg here
It's-
and turn and
Wait,
pivot
no,
it over
wait,
this
wait,
way.
wait.
Yeah.
Against
Kip, help
all
with that.
laws of physics. Against all laws of physics, this like 5 foot long, 2.5 foot tall worm gets shoved into the bag of dead things.
You can always fit a large worm in a small place if you try hard enough. At least that's what I've heard.
I thought the sticky wad came later, though.
Oh boy.
Did we lose Nick? Is he on the
Amazing.
floor? All right. So yeah,
I'm
so
okay.
there,
I'm okay.
there are clearly dangerous things in these caverns up this way. You might have expected it to be a little less dangerous since it is regularly traveled by the fungus shepherd, but yeah, apparently it's a little wild up here.
You know, I've heard this shepherd is a fun guy.
Oh god.
I'll just stand there. Oh, I get it now. Kip, that was
All right,
actually a
so-
good joke.
All right, so what are you guys doing now? The fight is over. Where are you headed?
Which way now, Zip?
Well, obviously, we should head in the direction we were heading before, but not quite, because we'll confuse the enemy. So, I think that rather than going left as we were doing, we should go right. And you know what they say, right? Like, home is where the heart is. And my heart is with the fungus shepherd, so we just have to go home.
Home is back, not right.
So we're going home? I'm confused. Lead the way. Point. Which way am I
And
going?
you're not at the fork. You guys went left and have gone up the cavern for a little ways. So if you want to go right, you need to backtrack some. Not saying you can't, just for where you are.
No, then let's just continue on. In that
Okay.
case.
Okay.
All right, Chopper's gonna keep his dagger out after that little scrape. He's a little nervous now, so
Yeah,
he's ready. He's ready for action.
I'm gonna keep Kip in front of me.
Okay. All right, you guys are moving through the caverns. It is getting a little warmer as you climb. It starts to ascend a little bit. There are a couple of parts of the cavern where it's not a smooth tunnel. You have to do some actual climbing up and around. It's not a congruous tunnel. And you guys climb here and there. The tunnel is getting a little more rough and a little more cramped, but Wadsworth is still able to stay with you. And you guys travel for about another hour and a half, and it really feels like you're ascending quite a bit. It sort of in jumps when you would climb, or there'll be a really, really steep part for a short stint, and then it'll level back out. There's over the 90 minutes, there's not a lot of other ways to go. It doesn't seem to be a very confusing route. But there are
On
there
our
are,
way.
Mhm.
Can I try and use my femur bone staff, that item, and some some dead glowworms, and some from my bag of dead things, and kind of smeared around on the head of it to try and cast light to help us navigate?
Yeah, you can roll 2 dice and see how that goes.
A 5 and a 1.
Okay.
Just trying to, I guess, cunning plan employ.
Yeah. And you're going to use it right away. It'll last for a little while. That's okay. You do. Naz asks everybody to stop for a moment. And you hear some shuffling around. You guys can see each other. This is the environment you guys are used to.
Now,
So
fizzle bot and wiggle when you gotta smush up on here and just get real close and
It's a good line.
and it wasn't a failure or anything. So yeah, there's Naz has a glowing tip on their bone now.
Naz! Children watch this show, god damn it!
I thought the sticky wad would come later.
So you guys have a little bit of light that'll help you see a little further. Like I said, you guys can see in this environment. It's the environment you're used to, but this does let you see quite a bit further down the tunnels with just a little bit of light.
Okay.
So how much further?
Naz,
Well, Zip's the only one that can answer that question.
That's what I was asking.
how much further?
Yeah.
Oh,
are we there
know,
yet?
you know what they say, it's not the journey, it's the destination. So it doesn't matter how close we are, it just matters the friends we make along the way. Like that caterpillar.
I don't know who
They'll
they
be
are,
an
but they seem
excellent
pretty
friend.
smart.
It's gonna
Alright,
keep
so-
walking with confidence.
Okay. There's some lichen and fungus starting to grow in this area. You can see that it's more prone to having a little bit of local flora to it. You guys travel for another 10 or 15 minutes. It's still warm. It's warm and humid, so that it's sort of the right environment for the fungus to actually be growing. And there is a moment where Kip stops and he stomps on your toe.
Kip! What the hell? Is something
Um,
wrong?
And he just turns and looks at you, and he sort of shakes his head.
I'm gonna make a look around check.
Okay.
Hold on, everybody.
You can use Kip for this because Let's see what you get before I give you anything else.
A 6.
Okay. So what you get for a 6, you get to pick the question. So you can find out what's dangerous here, what's valuable here, what recently happened here, or what is hidden here.
What's dangerous here?
Okay. So Kip looks at you and kind of shakes his head a little bit, and he hops and turns around to look up the tunnel, and then hops and turns back to look at you, and then he frills up a little bit, and then just spores all over your feet. So your feet are covered in green spores now.
Ew.
Ooh, I like this. It's a new fashion, I think. Green shoes. So it's not that I don't pay attention to Kip or care what he thinks, but generally speaking, are green spores a sign of danger or like good things?
Since you made the roll, you can tell what Kip is trying to indicate to you is that there's some kind of dangerous fungus or flora up ahead, not a creature or somebody hiding or anything like that. That was him trying to indicate to you that there's something dangerous in the plant life up ahead.
Okay. So,
It's my favorite, the glowing fungus.
yes, it says they, my comrades, up ahead there's dangerous flora or fungi. Not like Kip here. Kip's a little puppy, but up ahead there's something really, really nasty and dangerous. Like Audrey 2 from that show we did once, where there's a man-eating plant and we all sang about it. So, I just want to say, if we're going to keep going in that direction, we've got to be really, really careful. And again, I propose Kip go first.
All right, Wadsworth, back in the bag.
Actually, Wadsworth maybe could go first, because everybody knows that dangerous flora and fungi do not tamper with undead molds.
Oh, all right, we'll have him scout the way.
Yes, exactly, because honestly, he doesn't have sight or smell or taste or life, so they will just treat him like they would any other
Now
inanimate
you're just
object.
being mean. He
Hold on,
has feelings.
I have a plan.
And
Oh, yep, what's your plan?
Okay, so I've got these matches and I've got this wire, and we can just stick some wire into Wadsworth's snout and light some of the matches up on the front so he can go forward and light all the plants on fire.
Brilliant.
Problem solved. Then we do not deal with dangerous plants.
Like some sort of fire mole. I like
Correct.
it.
And for the record, Wadsworth being animated, Wadsworth will not fit in the bag.
Oh,
Just
I need a bigger bag.
as I keep saying, for planning purposes.
Okay.
And
I have ideas.
for anybody that
They won't be
for anybody
pretty,
that
but
is
I have
watching-
ideas.
For anybody that is watching, I did set up some things in the point store to interact with the game. If folks that are not playing would like to take part in some of the shenanigans, there's a few things for the point store that can impact the game as we're playing. All right, so Yarp had a plan.
I think that's 3d6 if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely malicious repurposing. You've got the
Yep.
matches. It will use that resource, and the wire is. You'll be able to recover the wire. So
Oh yeah. All right.
Go for it.
this is going to be a terrible one to fumble. Don't do it.
Well, what I'm hearing is definitely fumbling. So that's going to be a 5 and a 1 and a 5.
Okay. With a 5, yeah, you set it up so that it works.
All right. Just a big old plume of smoke, I'm assuming.
Okay, and you got the first point store redeem.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a mole flamethrower.
So actually, your roll counts as a 6.
Even better.
Because
Awesome.
Jimton, which I think is one of the folks that came over to watch you guys from Andromeda Adventures, spent the channel points for it works. So it
Excellent.
works.
Great.
So you're able to do this without setting Wadsworth on fire, which is good.
Even better.
Oh man.
So yeah, you're gonna basically make a match and wire halo around his snout and have him go on point.
Yep, just a whole book of matches aimed slightly ahead. And in a lot of ways, I think it will look very reminiscent of what his snout looked like when he was
To start
living.
with. Okay.
But way more metal.
Okay. So there's sizzling and terrible smells and whatnot. None of the stuff that he hits with the fire is really going to catch fire. But
Trying to remember which projects I was using as my example. Like,
and you guys travel for, yeah, we'll say a couple of minutes. We'll just let the matches burn that long. And then there is a screech that sort of sounds like a balloon deflating when you pull it tight. And there is a bright cloud of green spores that sort of erupt and then catch fire. So it's very bright, very briefly, and Wadsworth collapses to the floor. There's just a moment where your eyes are getting used to the really bright, then really dark. And in the dark, while you guys are all adjusting and getting your eyesight back to normal, with the light of the femur, and you guys can hear Wadsworth is snoring.
Oh my god. It put a zombie to sleep. I didn't even know that was possible.
I didn't know they could sleep.
They sleep
He
all the
usually doesn't.
time.
I did not know fungus would make such a bright explosion.
Clearly, you've never seen Kip after eating a plate of nachos.
This is a depressed
Okay, maybe
fool.
he doesn't sleep. He just kind of lays there making sounds. So I don't use his
No,
face. So
I
it's
just
really
meant in
rather
terms of
soothing.
making an explosion. That's what I was referring to. Kip makes an
Want me to
explosion.
blow up
after eating nachos.
Wadsworth? I suppose I could do it.
What I've heard is that fungus plus fire equals explosion, and that this is the prize tool that will help us later.
Kip, if we set you on fire, would you blow up? I'll take that as a yes. Thank you very much for your input.
Kip pops over and stands behind Chopper.
Damn it, Kip. What did I say about loyalty?
Chopper, avenge our fallen friend Wadsworth. Who else will you compete with in rock, paper, scissors?
Well, Wadsworth isn't dead. I think he's just asleep. We can wake up from that, right?
You think he likes it like that? He needs avenged.
Well, does anybody have any knowledge that would help?
Yes!
Oh.
I have heard that when a mole goes to sleep and falls down on its back, you can't get it up because it can't get up from its back because it's got like a shell on its back or something like that. I don't really know. I haven't heard all that much about this particular genus of mole. All I know is that when you combine the undead with the mole and the turtle shell, it makes for a species that really likes to be asleep. So I would say that Wadsworth is not going to be getting up unless, and this is really important, we entice him with the one thing that no mole can resist, which is a juicy secret he could spill to somebody else, because everybody knows moles take secrets and share them with the enemy. They're double agents. Yep, that's my confused compilation of nature and spy novels.
I would like to try and make an observe to see what knocked him out.
Okay. Go ahead and add your necromancy in that as well.
All right. A 6 and a 3.
A
Nice.
6
I
and
really
a 3.
want to. I
Okay.
really want a critical failure at one of these points. I just want something weird to happen.
it'll happen. With the 6, no, hang on a second. With the 6, I'm going to let you guys chew on this for just a second. I have to step away for just a second. You know he's not asleep because that's not really how it would work for a zombie. He has been paralyzed by something, and you're not sure how long it'll take to wear off.
Okay.
We could set everything on fire.
Fire
It's
plus mushroom equals paralyzed.
I mean, I'm just saying, fire's not always the best solution. It's not the only solution, but it's always a
It
solution.
is our solution.
Yes.
No, fire is always best solution.
Of course you would say that, you goddamn commie kobold. Gonna burn down the SARS palace.
Yeah, I had a fire mage in my game at one time, and that was one of his talents. It was kill it with fire. So any fire effect he got a bonus on, and he lit everything on fire all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm playing a pyromancer in Frosty's game. She's
Nice.
a lot of fun. She blows things up.
My players have learned that they can purchase gunpowder, and they have a love for the spell Fireball, and the two together is extremely frightening.
Yeah.
Fling, pull.
Yep.
Fluffernutter.
Similar, except
All right,
one of the players
so-
also has a cube of force, so they will walk into the cube of force, fill the cube of force with oil and dynamite, and then have a readied action to run and cast Fireball behind them.
Oh, jeez. Where's the kaboom?
I'm like, this is the worst plan. I hate this. It works. Everything's dead.
All right, so knowing that Wadsworth is paralyzed and you're not sure for how long, what's the plan?
I would like to use necromancy and pull the head of the bug out of the bag and try and commune with the dead bug to understand what is down here that can paralyze things.
Okay, fair enough. The fact that you have the bug will simply make this possible, so it's just a necromancy roll.
5.
Okay. You have taken the head off of the caterpillar, brought it out. It does talk to you. It lets you know that up this direction are a lot of dangerous and reactive fungus. They do paralyze. There are some that irritate and cause pain, and there are others that can make a horrible vibration that is unpleasant to be near.
Okay. All right, everyone. So apparently there are very dangerous fungi here that can vibrate and cause paralysis and itchiness and pain. They're infectious, and I don't know necessarily how to protect. I have a few ideas, but
Chomper's hand
entirely
is
sure.
raised. Hold on. Chomper's hand is raised, Teeth. Chomper, what is your idea?
I'm very nervous to bring this up because I certainly don't want to disrespect our leader Zip here. But are we sure we're going the right way? Because it seems like this is a pretty dangerous path to be taken. Mike, and it's a very long way into the cave. It seems like we've been traveling for a very long time, and I'm just thinking maybe there's a chance. Maybe I don't disrespect. Maybe we're not going the right way. I'm just curious.
That's an interesting point. Perhaps we've been going the wrong way instead of the wrong right way. And we need to make sure that when we turn around, we begin to go the wrong way and the right way, so that rather than going the wrong right way in the wrong fashion, we go where we need to go, but not where we should be. And so we end up where we deserve to be by going where we want to go, but not where we need to go. I do think we might want to turn around, because where we need to be isn't where we're going, but where we're going isn't where we want to be. Yes.
You can figure it out.
All right, Zip, make a cunning ploy check with whatever you think will apply here. What are you going to use?
I'm using knowledge and praise me because I'm trying to avoid being caught out for being an idiot. So I'm gonna really try
I'll
it.
give you that.
Oh, that is a critical failure.
Okay.
Wait. I'm gonna use Kip here and see if he can bite me and give me the reroll on that one, as we were talking about. No, actually, I use my journal. My journal lets me reroll that one. Give me a
Okay.
sec. It's a 3, so it's still 2 3s, but it's not a critical failure. It's just not great.
Okay. So there's
Great,
really
you got
only
us
been.
lost.
This is what I'm going to give you with your check. There's really only 3 directions you've had. You had the one fork, and then you had the tunnel that dropped down. You do know that this guy herds myconoids and is basically a fungus shepherd. You are getting into a fungus-filled area, and you do know that he was a long way away, which is why he only comes back every few days usually. This does seem like a dangerous route for him to be traveling through if he travels through regularly. But the only other options have been the hole in the cave that drops down into darkness, or the one fork where you went left and it could have gone right. However, that fork was before there was any actual fungus growing, or the climate had changed enough to sort of allow the fungus to propagate here.
You know, as they say, it's only a daring man who dares to brave the unfun of fungi. And we have to move on through this cave, because otherwise we'll never find the shepherd. So, I say we continue forward. For what else is there
Okay.
to do but go backwards? And backwards is bad.
I've got an idea.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't want to go backwards. Why don't we, Chomper? Are you okay with chomping down on something that? Well, just don't worry about what it is. But are you all right with eating something?
I'll eat anything.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Since we have no idea where we are, we're going to ask the locals for directions. And I would like to mix some of the mushrooms with a couple of birds and insects from my bag of dead things, with the brain of the um, caterpillar, and kind of mush them and grind them all together into a paste. And I would like to have Chomper eat it and use my necromancy to let and magic to have him commune with the mushrooms, and I will spend a zeal.
You're going to spend a zeal on that one?
Can I have Kip assist by translating with dance, interpretive dance?
If he spends a point of zeal, it is a powerful spell, so you won't need to.
Okay, excellent. I still will have Kip do an interpretive dance, but just for shits and giggles.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, there's this awful concoction that's put together in a little mortar and pestle.
Awful. This is a delicacy.
And yeah, and
It is.
you're not entirely sure what goes into it. You get the feeling that Naz kind of turns to not show you everything that's in it until it starts getting ground up. but yeah, it's there's some magic words spoken over it.
Son mein Soko. Son mein Soko.
And at the very least, this super powerful magic that actually all of you feel kind of burst through the cave real quick gets rid of the terrible smell, if nothing else. So you can get near it and it's palatable.
So I'm gonna. So I'm gonna. It sounds like I can maybe move forward into the area a little bit cautiously. If I'm using my nose, and if it starts to smell funky, I can stop and maybe I'll scout ahead and see what's going on.
I think the plan is for you to consume this gray speckled paste.
Oh, I just ate it. I was wondering if I see
Okay.
anything.
Okay. Well, you see all kinds of things for a short time. So
It's a delicacy.
there's a brief musical number with astounding symphonic tones and dancing mushrooms that you're lost in for a little while.
It's a small world
Um,
after all, is the number.
And you feel connected to your environment in a way that you did not realize was possible, and the realization that the tribe is everything and you are the tribe, which means you are everything. The cave is the tribe, the fungus is the tribe, the dead caterpillar that gave its brain for this was actually part of the tribe. Everything is of the tribe, and the tribe is everything. And the and the entire environment becomes vivid, like you sort of have, like there's a black light in here suddenly, and everything is black light colors and phosphorus paints, and you can see as you start to move forward, you can see that there are some of the funguses that sort of shift. They're all about most of them are about basketball or soccer ball size on the side, and there's flat topped mushrooms and lichen growing everywhere. There's a few things that are growing not like vines like ivy, but sort of in a vined pattern, but it's still kind of a moss. There's lots of things that are growing in the heat and moisture of this cave. But you can see immediately when you get within about 8 feet of some of these that some of them sort of shift and react to you very subtly. It'd be very easy to miss and overlook, but you see it right away. And one of the things that you notice in the first 3 that you see, once you move past poor slumbering Wadsworth, is that all of them they have this sort of blue cap to them with, it looks like speckles, but you think they might actually be orifices or spores, a way for it to shoot out spores. They all have a yellow spotch on it that looks like somebody put paint on them with their little kobold hand.
So just certain ones are marked. There's just the ones
All
that have
of
the
them,
spores.
the first 3 that you see sort of in a cluster that
Mhm.
actually move and react to you, all 3 of them have that little, it looks bright yellow to you, but there's a mark on them.
So
It's not like all over the place. It's in like one spot.
So am I able to, if I'm moving slowly enough and carefully enough, can I navigate my way through this area and like avoid stuff? Do I think I can like get through this without being harmed?
You're not sure. The furthest you're going to be able to, there's no way to get through without getting within about 3 or 4 feet of some of these things.
No, but
Because it's still a
yeah.
passage.
So the other kobolds behind me, they're within earshot, right? They can see me tripping out right now, right? Okay. So I'm gonna turn back and look at those guys and be like, "Hey guys, do you guys see those handprints on those shrooms over there. So I'm asking them if they see the handprints on those
And,
three
and
shrooms.
in the dark, you guys, I mean, you can get an idea which mushroom he's talking about or which fungal growth he's talking about, but you have no idea what he's talking about on it.
I'm
I
just gonna
think
walk
they
over.
want
You're
you
not
to
seeing
touch
it.
him. Give him a hug.
Well, Chomper
Ask
is
them if they will be our friends.
handprint and see what happens, but
He's
I don't think
gonna
that's
do
a good
what?
idea. I was actually thinking about putting my hand on the handprint. Does it look like a kobold's hand, like the same size?
It looks the size of a kobold finger. It looks like it's just like a finger paint smear, is what it looks like.
Oh, okay. So it's like just maybe marked. Okay. So
But what you don't see it all over it. It's in the same spot.
just in one spot. Okay.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that move just a little.
Yeah, the ones that just sort of they seem to shift a little bit when you get within about 8 feet of them.
Okay. And
To
if I
you, it's bright as day. It's almost like they turned and faced you. But
right,
there's the actual movement is very subtle.
gotcha. And so I'm gonna try. So it turned and faced me. I'm gonna kind of back away and see if they do anything, and then I'm just gonna kind of move around. They're probably gonna think I'm just being weird, but I'm just trying to see if it's paying attention to me specifically, or if it was just like because of the proximity where I was, I got its attention.
Okay. It seems to be proximity based, but um, what you get is that each time you sort of get within about a 6 to 7 foot area and actually
Mhm.
get it to respond to you, it really feels to you like it's turning to face you because no matter where it is, when you step away, it kind of settles a little bit. And like I said, the movement is very, very subtle. But to you, with the way you're sort of heightened right now, it almost feels like a really abrupt kind of movement. And what you can see each time is it basically turns to look at you, and that mark is basically pointing straight at you, and with all of the spore pustules all over it.
Now, does
But
it
you
seem
can tell after a few times of looking at it that it's definitely not a natural marking on this fungus.
got you? So maybe they've had something done to them. If I look around in this, if away from that spot, do I see any others like that have the mark on them, or do I see a path that might be safely enough away from those that we can kind of circumvent the ones that are marked?
You don't see a path through without getting very close to some of these things. You don't see any way to walk through without getting near them, at least some of them. And from where you're standing right there at sort of the first one, you can see 2 more down the tunnel, and those are the first 3, and that's really the furthest you've gone.
Okay.
You can assume there's more, but at the very least, there are 3 right here within about a 15-foot stretch of the cavern, and they're clustered such that there's really no way to get through the tunnel without getting within about 3 or 4 feet of a couple of these things.
Use your body language. Commune with them. Ask them for safe passage.
Well, you said I can talk to them, right? Or I think I can talk to them, or I'm like somehow I'm connected with them, right?
You
Okay,
you think you
I,
might
That
be able
was
to
my
talk.
intention. That was what I was trying to do with the zeal sped. Yes.
so I'm gonna walk very slowly up to that first cluster of marked mushrooms until I get
Okay.
their attention, and then I'll stop.
Okay.
And
It's
then
just the first one, and it does. It sort of stops, and it turns, and it sort of feels like it's looking at you. There's no
okay,
face, but it feels like it's facing you and looking at you.
so hi, Mr. Mushroom, Chopper here. We're trying to find a friend. He's lost. We think he's lost. We're worried about him, and we think he might have been going this way. And just kind of wondering if you might be able to help us, allow us to get through here, so we can maybe find a friend.
Make a talk it over roll. I'll give you 1 die for the spell you're under. Is there anything else you're going to try to use?
Maybe just the protective thing because I'm trying to make sure it's safe for them to pass through here.
And
No, I don't
remember,
think that's gonna
you're
directly
you're
apply.
one with everything. So protect the tribe. The tribe is everything. You're protecting them. Maybe I don't know.
Food order and a hot dog.
That's not really gonna apply here. That's a little too broad.
You could threaten it with your dagger. God damn it, Mushroom! Tell me what I want to know.
I'm trying to make friends here. So it's just that it's going to be just 1d6 then, right?
Yes, but it's an actual. You have a talent that will apply, so a 6 is an actual 6.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so 1d6. Here we go. A 5.
A 5. Okay, so marginal success essentially. It looks at you. It seems to actually be engaging when you speak. So you're fairly certain that there's some kind of communication happening. It's at least acknowledging the fact that you're trying to talk to it. The only thing you really get out of it is it gives a little bit of a stock cock, like it's cocking its head,
Yeah.
and it sort of makes like a cooing or purring noise that you can hear.
I'm going to obviously I have my daggers put away. I'm going to keep my hands out where it can see them. I'm going to slowly approach it and see if it starts to change its demeanor.
No, not really. It makes that sort of cooing, purring noise again, and kind of stretches its head toward you when you get close. It doesn't swell or look like it's going to puff or explode spores or anything, but it looks like it's sort of leaning in at you.
Okay, I'm going to look back at the group and go, and then I'm going to just try to get as close as I can and to see if it reacts to me. If it lets me get within arm's reach, I'll start to extend my hand to try to make contact.
Okay. It lets you get that close, and it sort of, as you approach, it leans in as much as it can. And when you extend your arm, it kind of extends toward your hand.
I'm going to lightly touch it at first and just like set my hand there for a moment, see if it reacts. If it doesn't, I'm going to actually kind of try to pet it a little bit to show like affection or show that I don't mean to hurt it.
Okay. It shakes a little bit, reacts a little bit to you touching it. Let's go ahead and make a look around check for me, and I'll give you your commune with fungus trait for the spell that you're under.
Okay, so it'd be 2d6 or 1d6?
Well, do you have another trait that'll apply?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So just 1d6?
Well, hold on. Didn't you learn on this trip that you are the tribe and the tribe is everything? And this mushroom is a part of the tribe. And if I'm not mistaken, your whole thing is you'll do anything for the tribe.
Me, yes. Yeah.
I think that
before the tribe is a bit of a stretch for this one, just like it was last time. However, what I will do is, I don't know if Nick wandered away or whatnot. I'll give you one extra die for the interpretive dance that Kip is doing for you, because that it's much more meaningful for you than for anybody else at this moment. So,
Huzzah! Go,
we'll
Kip!
give you 2 dice.
Sorry, my camera is bugging out, but I'm still here.
Okay.
I got a 2 and a 6.
Okay. You can tell that it's not necessarily fond of touch and you petting it and whatnot. With a 6, though, that's actually perfect. What you see is the spot where it's marked.
Mm-hmm.
When you rub your finger down that, or your 2 fingers down that, like you're petting that part.
Yeah.
It's sort of like scratching a dog between the eyes on the forehead, and it sort of settles down, and you can see it sort of exhale and relax, and it just sort of settles back to what it was before it swelled up for your presence.
Okay. I'm going to turn back, motion him just hang on, be quiet, a little longer. I'm trying to be quiet and calm and not moving too quickly. I'm going to go to the other ones and approach the same way slowly, and I'll try to do the same thing to try to get the 3 that I can see relaxed. And then if that works, then I'll motion for them to come slowly this way to see if it reacts to them.
Okay. It works exactly the same for the next 3 or the next 2. They seem to be agitated by your presence. They watch you approach. They let you get within. You don't know how close they would let somebody else get to react. You know, it's what they do is sort of a close proximity, so they're not going to go off when you're really far away. But you do get close, and they look like they're a little agitated. And the posture for them, since you're sort of in tune with them right now, is instead of being friendly, it's like they're sort of bowed up, waiting to. You would expect them to charge at you or swing at you. They can't move. But it's that kind of aggressive posture. And when you rub your hand or fingers down that spot that's marked, it does just essentially make them relax. It sort of shuts them off.
Okay. So if I see that that's kind of working, I'm going to look back to everybody. I'm going to motion them to come towards me. And then I'm going to keep an eye on them and see if they react as the rest of the kobolds get closer.
Okay. Everybody knows that Chomper is just straight tripping balls right now. And he's been playing with the mushrooms for like 5 minutes. But he's been in and around and through the mushrooms, touching the mushrooms, and nothing bad has happened. And he's now motioning you guys to come forward slowly and quietly.
This is a regular Friday night, so I'm just following Chomper. This was the whole plan. It worked out flawlessly.
Okay. So Naz is the first one to move up, and you do see that as you get within about 7-8 feet of the first mushroom, it's plain as day to you, Chomper, that it reacts and sort of swells up and leans toward the path where you would have to go around the cluster of fungus that it's in. Are you going to do anything at that point?
If I see it reacting negatively to Naz, then I'm going to come back to Naz, and I'm going to motion everybody else to get next to where Naz is. Then I'm going to try to do the triggering thing again and have them move with us, because it seems like it only lasts for a short time. So I'm going to try to recalm it once they're gathered, and then I'll try to do that with each one as we go through. We'll see how the first one goes, but that's my thinking.
Okay. So as you guys get close, again, these movements are really, really subtle. They don't really catch your eye. Once you're watching what goes on, you can see that they are shifting a little bit. Right now, to Chomper, it's incredibly obvious movement, but for the rest of you, it's really subtle. And once you guys all do get close, and you all sort of scamper around poor Wadsworth taking his involuntary nap, he points to one of it looks like a round capped mushroom that's about the size of a basketball. And there is when you're close enough, you can see there is a mark. It looks like it's like an inky paste, like it's been made with some kind of other plant or spore. And there's a little, it's actually a red mark, and it's sort of hard to see in normal light. But you can see it once you know it's there, and you see Chomper run his finger down it. It's just a stripe. And when he runs his finger down it, you actually see the mushroom kind of shift down about an inch and set back about 2. So you can see it react to the touch, and it just sort of, it's almost like a flower sort of bringing its petals in and retreating. But it's the fungus version of that. It just sort of sets back a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna follow and repeat.
Okay.
So what I'll do is, since we're kind of doing this chain thing or snaking through here, I'll each there's 3 of them, right? So the second one, I'll wait there, and so I can show them where I don't know if they can see it as good as I can see it, just to make sure they can see it before we're moving on to the next one. I don't want to get too far ahead.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely can't see it as well as you can, but once the trick is known, you guys can move through. Give me a look around roll. Chomper first, and it'll be just the one die for your new commune with fungus.
I got a 1.
Okay, so you get to a spot where you're pretty sure you're clear of these fungi. You're communing with these things. You know that what these things would have done is exhaled the same thing that got Wadsworth. It would have just blown spores that would have sort of attacked your nervous system and respiratory and paralyzed you for a while. So Naz, who's behind Naz? Probably Yarp, because Zip's playing anchor.
Oh yeah, absolutely, always.
Okay. So Yarp and Naz make look around rolls with whatever you think might help you sort of be aware of your surroundings.
It's the glowing bone lamp.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, you guys have some light with you. And you rolled a 1 on your only die, Chomper?
Yes.
Okay, so that's an actual critical fumble, so I skipped past that. You need to give me a 1-word prompt as to how this went catastrophically wrong.
How do I tell you
How
one
your
word?
awareness...
Come down. Like the trippy is wearing off. Like I'm coming down. That come down.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. What I was getting at was how your awareness of your surroundings right now is going to backfire somehow.
Oh, gotcha. So
And
my
it
word.
doesn't need to be a 1-word prompt. It can be a short prompt.
Okay, what am I? So it's like what I'm perceiving right now, but I'm wrong, right?
Yes, either maybe you're focused on the wrong thing, or you've got a false sense of security, or something like that.
Yeah.
But something about your perception of your surroundings right now is catastrophically off.
Yeah, I think we're in we're in the clear. We're good.
Yeah, that's coming down on drugs. It's like, oh no, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm coming down.
Whack. Okay. So yeah, all right. So Chomp gives the indicator to everybody that you guys are in the clear and you're good to go, and the actual impact on that is I'm going to give you guys a 1 die penalty to your look around. So you're essentially losing the bonus for having the light. What else do you have to work with?
I don't have anything else. And I rolled.
We know we're trying to get through this whole thing, so I am going to pull out a bat and I will reanimate it so it squeaks and makes sound noises to warn me of encroaching danger.
And he's gone.
I missed some of that. Sorry.
I'm trying to use my bag of dead things and a dead bat to make an echolocation necromancy spell where I'm going to eat the bat and gain its sonic sound so that I can see without seeing.
Aha, the Ozzy Osbourne technique.
All right, I'll give you the 1 die for that, and you had the 1 die without a trait, and you rolled a 1, right, Ryan?
Correct.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Yep.
So, how does your awareness go? You've been told everything's good, so how is your looking around going to go catastrophically wrong?
trying to think of
Take a
good
moment to sit
one.
down.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a good one word for you, and I'm gonna give you clumsy, and we're gonna see where this goes.
Okay. Okay. Let's see what happens with Naz. Oh, my camera's off.
I have a 4.
That's it. Okay. And a 4, huh? Okay. So yeah, you use your necromantic magic, bite the head off the bat. Nothing really seems to happen. You're looking around, and then you belch. And when you belch, you get sort of the daredevil radar vision down the tunnel. And you can see the fungus continues down the tunnel, but you've been told you're in the clear. There are other large fungus still growing down the tunnel for a while. And Naz, or not Naz, Yelp sits down, or he goes to step over something. We're just gonna say you turn quickly. You check what Naz is doing. Figure it's that weird juju that you don't want anything to do with. You turn around and your foot hooks, and you do fall into a fungus. And I need everybody that's there to make a avoid danger roll.
Do I count as being
As
there, or
hmm?
do I count as being there, or am I?
You do because of what's happening.
Okay.
It's a big enough area, and there's no penalty for being at ground zero, but you are the trigger of what's about to happen. What'd you get?
I got a 1.
All right.
So since I succeeded and realized that we're in there, I am going to try and pull out my undead lizard Fred and focus on him and suspend myself in a momentary state of undeath where I don't need to breathe or eat.
Okay.
Using
All
him
right.
as a focus.
Okay.
And
Fair
I
enough.
would like to use one of the 2 shinies for my cloak to say it helps protect me from the spores because it's a big, heavy thing of rat fur.
Okay. Spores is not what's happening here.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna take Kip's hand and follow him.
Okay.
I got a 6 and a 4.
I will let you use Kip. You can use your cloak. Man, yarp. Chomper, what are you doing to avoid danger?
I was thinking about just trying to run through, like just run, like see how far I could get, because he's kind of high strung and kind of freaking out right now. He's coming down from the trip, and he's kind of confused. He thought everything was good, so maybe I'm just gonna take off running towards down the way we were going. Like feels dangerous right here, and he's just gonna panic and take this bolt.
Okay, so go ahead and make your avoid danger roll. I don't think you're going to have anything that's going to add to it, though, because that's definitely not protecting the tribe. So
Right.
Fuck it. I'm gonna follow him.
I got a 6.
Okay.
I got a 6
Oh,
as well. A 6 and a 3.
We did
that
get
okay?
another token thing.
And what did you? What do we got? Oh, all right. And Naz, what did you roll?
I rolled a 6 and a 4.
Okay, +1 to their highest die. All right, so you've got your 6. All right, good. And thank you, Jemton.
Thank you.
This is a new system, so I wasn't entirely sure how to put stuff in the store, but we're working on making sure that we have things in place for some of the games for audience interaction. We haven't done anything with the tip store or anything yet. I'm just messing with the point store. We're not going to do it with all of the games. Some of the more serious games with longevity and whatnot, if we have interaction, it'll be limited. But when we do things like this or Gaslands, where the chaos is sort of expected and adds to the fun, we definitely want to have things where people can interact and affect the game. So thank you. It's actually fun to see people interact with that. And easier to pronounce backwards.
Nutmeg.
Nutmeg. Okay. All right. Is nutmeg what you go by? Because I'm happy to call you that. I was just reading what was there. All right. So, yeah, Chomper, you bolt. You rolled a 6. Nick, you also rolled a 6.
Yep.
All right. And
Ah!
you see Chomper bolt, and Kip. Kip is not happy about what's going on, but Kip stays with you. You guys follow Chomper. I'm trying to figure out how the 6 is going to apply to what Naz did. Naz, you are casting your spell and you're trying to sort of channel the undead, and you've got your 6, so it works. I'm going to say what happens is you sort of, and you've done this before, so it's not a surprise, but there's sort of a momentary lapse as you, what you consider sort of crossing the veil temporarily. Um, all of your senses sort of go dark, and as you sort of feel yourself shut down, you end up in sort of a sensory deprivation moment. When you do this, you stop breathing, you stop seeing, you stop hearing, and at some point you stop feeling, and then you sort of wake up in your channeled zombie state. One of the last things you feel in the dark right before your sense of feeling goes away, and you feel the cold kind of wash through your nerves, and you lose your sense of feeling, is there's this sort of all over your body vibration, just this rhythmic vibration, um, but you recede into the darkness. Um, and everybody else runs as one of these mushrooms that poor Yarp apparently fell straight into face first with his roll. Lets out this just ear-piercing, almost teeth-shattering screech that echoes for. You're sure they probably heard it back at the camp, back at the tribe. Because of the roll, you do take 1 point of harm, and I'm going to let you pick. You are either essentially paralyzed, comatose for an amount of time that I will sort of decide randomly, or you can take a 2nd point of harm, and it was painful, but you're still there and alert.
I think I will take the comatose.
Okay. And you took, did you take harm before? I
Nope.
didn't specify this at the beginning. Any harm from the first session is gone. Okay.
First harm I've taken.
Okay, so I just couldn't remember if in the wire debacle if you had taken damage or not. Okay, so
It's embarrassment.
you take
Mostly
1
shame.
point of harm, 1 point of harm, and roll a die for that. And you are it something neurologically. It basically just shuts you down.
What's this be a 1? Oh, that's a 6.
Okay, so it hurts but doesn't kill you. But you are it's neurologically you're shut down for a little while. You're rebooting from this noise.
Yep, I just twist, tumble, and then just go stiff as a board. Just stock straight and just boom, fall over like a bowling pin.
Chip, Zip, and Chomper run through. The noise is awful and it's painful to your ears, but doesn't actually injure you. It's terrible. That's not what you were expecting to go off. You actually run past another one of these things, and you keep running because you see it sort of puff and then let out its balloon squeal. You guys don't take any damage, but the noise is just terrible, and you know anything anywhere nearby just heard everything that happened. You do see that Yarp fell into the fungus that did this, and you see Naz just sort of standing in the tunnel, not moving, but seems to be fine for a moment, and then you run far enough to get away from this and not get hurt, that you do sort of lose sight of them in the dark of the cavern. Naz, when you come to after your spell, there's a strange ringing in your ears. It doesn't hurt because you're in undead mode, but there's a little bit of ringing in your ears. You're not entirely sure what happened. You know your buddies were ahead of you and were running, and you do see that Yarp is, looks like he's taking a nap in the mushrooms. About, well, we'll say about 8 feet from you. 9 feet from you.
I'll zombie over. Quack.
You're still you, it's just hard to talk because you're not breathing, so you don't have the air to speak.
And poke him with
You
the
have,
femur.
we're gonna do this the fun way. Do you have a D6 near you?
Yeah.
A physical D6?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Just the streaming D6.
Well, just keep track of it. I was gonna have you use a D6 as a marker. You have enough air for 6 words until this is over with. So once that air is out of your lungs, you won't have the air to say anything else. So
Okay.
that's what you have for communication when you're a zombie. Right now, you have 6 words. You can tell Yarp is clearly breathing. They're actually in pain, so they're breathing rapidly, but eyes are open, lights are on, no one's home kind of thing. You poke him, his body sort of reacts to being poked with the femur. No change in expression, doesn't turn to face or acknowledge you or anything. Clearly not dead, not covered in spores, but not with you either.
I would like to use 2 of my 6 things of air to should give the universal our duck tribal distress call quack. So loud enough that it'll echo out to everybody out down the way.
Okay. Given what just happened, Zip and Chomper make look around rolls. Chomper, I'm going to give you your protector roll. Your ears are ringing, so this is going to be hard to hear. But you are wanting to know what happened to the people. You know, you just bravely ran off and abandoned.
I panicked.
That is a 1.
Myself.
I think we're fine.
I just rolled 2d6 then?
Wait, actually, the prompt
you've
I'll
got
give
1d6
you,
for the first trade.
the prompt I'll give you there for that critical failure is the ducks are coming for us, as I heard a quack.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
The Kraken!
Okay.
The Kraken is attacking!
So, you've got 1 for Protect the Tribe. What else do you have that would be sort of helpful for listening and being aware of what's going on?
Well, I kind of doubled up because I've got the Protect the Pact. I got a talent that nobody harms my family, and my perk is protective. I put them maniacally protective of kobolds. So whatever you think I should use.
Okay, so we'll give you the 2. We'll let you have nobody harms my friends, we'll do protector and the defender. There's not any harm happening, so you're not going to get the nobody harms my friends.
Right.
The other
Gotcha.
two you can use, so you get 2 dice.
Oh, gotcha. All right. A 1 and a 4.
Okay. So you hear sort of a distressed quacking noise, which your tribe herds ducks and farms the fungus. So it's sort of one of the scouting things when adventurers are in the tunnel. Quacking to each other is an alert. You're not entirely sure that's exactly what it is, but you do hear quacking. It sounds a little distressed, sort of like it's forced. But you do notice right away that Zip has an incredibly panicked look on his face, and says something to the effect of, "Dear God, the ducks are coming."
So did I hear the sound from where we're headed or
From
where we
back
were just
down
coming from? Ah.
From back down the tunnel where your friends were. So from
Followed us.
behind you.
They
Oh,
followed
crap.
us.
So I guess I gotta try to avoid danger and run back to them so I can try to help them.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Uh,
Yeah. Because there's still the danger of the spores and stuff, right? I mean,
You didn't run past any new spore ones because you didn't stop to calm them. You did run past 2 shriekers, though. The one you set off and you ran past another one.
Right. Okay.
The one that's immediately the one that you ran past the second one.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't vocabulate tonight, but seems to be still sort of recovering from its deflation.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna beat feet and try to get back there to save you, help you. Then I'm just gonna come running as fast as I can.
Okay.
I will stand bravely here guarding the tunnel, and as I hide, I'm gonna make a don't get caught roll.
Okay, you go right ahead and tell me how that goes, and tell me what you're using. Chomper, you run back, and you do see that standing, like utterly just listlessly, like completely separated from their environment, is Naz, and Naz is sort of just absentmindedly poking at Yarp, who's laying on the ground right in front of. It looks like he fell on one of these deflated shrieker mushrooms.
And I will drool and point and say, brains.
I got so I when I get back there, I can see Naz and Yarp is on the ground, right?
Yeah.
And where
Yarp,
is Zip?
Yarp is on the ground, and Naz is there, and you know there's nothing wrong with Naz, but Naz is in zombie mode.
Oh,
You guys are a tribe. You've seen it before. It's really weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get his attention. Yeah. Naz, there's trouble coming. Step out of it. I'm just trying to get his attention.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna start walking back down the out of the tunnel, channeling my zombie, trying to avoid detection as I shamble necromantically, channeling the zombiness, and obviously fungi will ignore the undead that just walk past them, as undead have no interest in fungi, and just make my way out of the tunnel. Brains!
Which way are you going? Back the way you came, or the way that Zip
the
and
way that
Chomper
Zip and
went?
Yarp. And then I'll say,
shamble up that way?
follow. And that'll be all my words.
And yeah, you see the shrieker that Yarp fell on. It's actually a little banged up from Yarp falling on it, but you see it's slowly kind of. It almost looks like it's doing the Rubbermaid thing, where it's like. Dum, 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 dum.
Can I stab it?
You can.
Before it lets out its scream?
I'm letting you know it's going to take a while to inflate before it can release again. But you can see that that's what it's doing.
Okay. I'm going to get everybody out of here as quickly as possible. So I'm going to grab Yarp and follow. I'm going to follow Naz.
Okay. So yeah, you guys get further up the tunnel. You're able to carry Yarp back up before the second one that you ran by is ready to shriek again, because it doesn't go off. It's still it's still reinflating basically. And you guys are all back together. And yeah, Naz is standing there like a zombie. Yarp seems completely non-responsive. You guys can tell Yarp is maybe alert. You don't know. Completely non-responsive and definitely not dead. Just sort of there.
Just gonna casually start trying to chew on Yarp's head.
Naz,
Yeah.
this is no time to be trying to find brains.
Bad Naz. Naz.
And
Also, you've eaten his brains before, or tried to, and you know they're not there. Come on.
and there's still the danger of the quacking. The quackening, as chat says.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I'm saying we have to get out of here. Like, the ducks are coming for us. Like, did you not hear them? They're coming for their revenge. We've got to go. We tried to put them in a row those 2 weeks ago, and they're coming back for us. We tried to get our ducks in a row, and they're
So I'm gonna run back through what we just ran through for me to
no.
get.
We've got to keep going. We got to keep going. The only way out is through at this point in time. I think that's something else adventurers say. We've gotta put the pedal to the metal and get away from the ducks.
Quackening is upon us.
Yes, it is. They have released the Kraken, and as I'm sure you all know, when the Kraken is released, the only thing to do is to run like hell.
The bad Naz will snap me out of zombie mode.
Okay. You guys want to take a look around?
Yes.
Okay. Using what?
Well, I'm terrified right now I've already let my family down once because I took off running like a coward. So I want to hand off Yarp to Zip, and I would say get them to safety. I'm going to make sure you guys get away clean. So I'm going to basically try to hold off whatever's coming for a moment while they get a head start.
No.
And I'll come after.
This is no time to be dying pointlessly. Yarp is already paralyzed.
And I mean, just for reference scale, remember that these ducks to you would essentially be like angry ostriches. So that's why they're so terrifying.
Right. I got to redeem myself though. I bailed like a coward.
You said you were going to look around, Naz?
Yes. What I'm going to do is pull out Yorick, the skull of a duck, from my bag of dead things. And I will say, "Alas, York, allow me to see through the many dead eyes that linger upon this land consumed by the fungus. Poor ye who have fallen, and alert us to the quackening. To quack or not to quack? That is the question that I must discern through the eyes of the others." And I'm going to try and use necromancy and my bag of tools of dead things to observe through all the dead things that the fungus have slain.
Okay, roll your 2 dice.
A 4 and a 2.
4 is enough. All you get out of the skull of the duck Yorick, nobody else hears the quack, but you hear just and the rest of you just sort of see the jaw.
I didn't hear what you said. It cut out for a second. Can you repeat that?
You just hear a really just slow quack. But it's a sound only you can hear. However, it sort of indicates to you that there is no other quacking, and the only quacking that there was you. And Zip is in a panic about the quacking. So you it's enough for you to put together that he maybe misinterpreted the noises you made because there's no other quack coming.
I finally understand. There is not a quacking, but I am the quacker.
Your quacks for me.
My gods, you're turning into a duck.
Quacker.
You lay eggs.
Not yet.
So this this is a decent enough point. Does anybody need to get up and stretch or refresh their drink or hit the restroom? Do we want to take a short break?
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty, so for anybody watching, looks like we do have a few people watching. We are going to take just a 5 to 10 minute break. We're just going to stretch, get something to eat, get something to drink, and we'll come back shortly and wrap up what we got going. Give me just a second to step over here since I am solo at the studio again, and we will switch over. And button, who's got the button? There we go. Alrighty, folks. Thanks for sticking with us during the commercial break. I'm going to give it just a second and listen to make sure I transitioned and audio is okay. Forgive me. It's part of running everything by myself. Okay. I can hear my annoying voice. We are back. All right. So, you guys make it back up the tunnel. Catch your breath a little bit, and your your resident zombie kobold sort of snaps out of it, and you've got Naz back. And you have put together that it is indeed not the quackening. It was simply zombie quacks. And
Oh my god!
You have sort of decompressed from that, and you realize you have a moment sort of to catch your breath. You seem to be past the fungus patches where there's a lot of danger. What is growing around here is mostly just heavy lichen. It's almost like the bottom half of the cave is actually just sort of covered with a heavy moss. The lichen is so thick it's almost like that. It's sort of soft and spongy, and just sort of a uniform green on the uneven surfaces.
Where to from here?
You're muted, James. I missed all that. It looked animated though.
So we still have to go back through where we just came back to meet up with everybody else, right? Or
No,
have we gone?
We're all here.
To make your way back to the tribe, you would need to, but you guys are all together because you got Yarp and pulled him through. Naz shambled himself through. Everybody is past the dozen or so dangerous funguses that you have encountered.
Oh, okay, so we're back in the right direction then.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. All right. So
You see, I knew it.
I never doubted you for a second, Zip.
I've never doubted me for ever.
Deep moment of introspection. Though. Is that really true? All right,
Shut up, Kip.
All right, so yeah, you guys take a moment to catch your breath. You're not entirely sure what to do with Yarp, but you do, after a few minutes of sort of catching your breath and letting Zip come down and from the adrenaline spike of the quackening and everything, Yarp begins to move and sort of come to. It's a slow process, but Yarp, you're back. The only real lingering effect is all of your ears are ringing right now, and Yarp, you've got a little bit of a headache from it, but you're okay. It was massive system shock, but you're okay. Unpleasant. It was definitely unpleasant, but you're good at this point.
Does this mean I don't get to eat his brain?
What did you say?
Let's not jump to any conclusions, Naz. Yeah, how many fingers am I holding up?
What did you say? Two? What have you said?
How many fingers am I holding up?
What this? I cannot. It's ringing.
Oh my god. His brain might be done for. You might actually get to eat it, although I wouldn't. It might poison you more.
So Zip, how much further?
Oh, well, you know what they say. The fungus is always greener on the other side of the cave, and we do seem to be in an area of green fungus. I'd say we're closing in on our goal. But if the fungus is always greener on the other side, we need to look for an area where the fungus isn't green, it's brown. So we have to keep going straight that way direction. But is this edible? That's the question. I'm gonna sniff the fungus and see if this fungus is edible or poisonous.
Thumper, find out.
This seems to be regular cave lichen, and it's for you guys, it's utterly edible. There's nothing wrong with this stuff.
I have a snack.
Okay.
I'll
It
take
peels
point.
right off the wall in patches. Okay.
And I'll follow
Delicious.
behind Chomper.
Okay. You guys start moving back up the cave.
Yes.
All
We
right.
need to find our friend.
The air is still fairly humid in here, and after just a few minutes, you sort of, it doesn't hit you suddenly, but you kind of come to the realization that the air has a lot more movement to it as you're moving down the tunnel, which makes you a little nervous because that tends to mean either there's a large body of moving water, which you don't hear, or there's an opening to the outside, which you guys don't like. So further down the cave, about 10 minutes, just a little bit of a walk, you do see that there's up ahead. In the distance, there's a bit of a curve, and there is it seems to be fairly brightly lit up there. Not like daylight bright, but like there's maybe a large fire or maybe some kind of light source.
I would say, is it a steady light glow or is it like a flickering kind of light?
It's a very steady light.
Steady. Okay. All right. So Chopper's gonna draw his big his sword dagger, and
Wait, Jumper. Before you go further, always remember that it's darkest before the dawn, and the brightest light shines in the darkest places. So, what we need to do is make sure if we're hiding, we're in the brightest area of light, because whatever it is, they'll never look for us there. I'm going to try and use cunning ploy and just see if that terrible advice happens to actually work in this case. Give me a second to roll that. That's a 6.
all right.
What are you using?
I'm
just
using
do the one die?
I'm using praise me and knowledge as I'm trying to again aggrandize myself to Chomper and share my knowledge of the outside by teaching him how to utilize the light to hide.
Okay. All right. So anybody that wants to make a don't get caught roll will get a bonus trait. You're not entirely sure how you're going to utilize this advice, but it makes you very conscious of the lighting that's washing across the rocks and the lichen and other growths.
Well, Chopper wants to sneak ahead and just kind of get a peek, just so we kind of know what we're dealing with. So I was going to go ahead and just kind of try to peek around the corner and see what I could see.
Okay. So what are you using to sneak up on the corner? You've got one die from the apparently stellar advice about light.
I think in this immediate situation, I don't really have anything else that's going to work.
Okay. So you do have one trait die.
What's that?
You do have one trait die from the great advice that Zip has.
Oh, okay, so
You
just the
can roll
1d6. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see what happens. I got a 2.
Got a 2. Okay. So, following the advice that you were given, the
Thanks, Zip.
the places with better lighting is apparently the best place to hide.
Stay in the light. You're in the dark. You're doing it wrong.
So no, you do stay in the light and follow the advice. You get to the corner, and the way everything is kind of growing, and there's some vines kind of hanging down and whatnot. You come out to a point where you can see around it, and what you do see is there is a large cave, and it goes up to what must be a colossal 30 feet or so. That's just huge for you guys. And way up high, it looks like there's some kind of break in the cavern roof where there is actually sunlight coming through and sort of making this one room kind of warm and fairly lit. It's bright and uncomfortable, but not disorienting or painful for your kobold eyes. It's just a very well lit room. And there are pens set up on the far side where it looks like there are a few of the myconoids, kind of like Kip, but mostly it's like a farm. It's normal fungus, not sentient fungus that is harvested here. There's a little bit of shepherding and a lot of farming that happens here, but mostly in the middle of what's in the middle of this large cavern, what you see is the Fizzbib, the guy you're looking for, is sitting on a what must have been a large fungus. It's a stump that's like a tree stump. He's sitting on the stump and being made to sit there by a tall human with metal and leather armor who is holding a sword and looking directly through you, Chomper. Like he's looking straight at you. He's looking you between the eyes. You're trying to be sneaky, but he's looking straight at you.
All right. So I just kind of Homer Simpson my way back a little bit, and
I would like
and,
to make on a. Sorry.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. My apologies.
Oh no, I was just gonna say he just kind of backs up, and I just whisper back to those guys. Our guy's in trouble.
I think Yarp being somewhat the tinnitus is real strong. Because he sees this look back and what? What do you say?
Oh, the ringing ears, yeah.
Yeah. What did you say?
Yarp, didn't you hear? He said Fizzbin's in trouble.
Well, they're shouting at each other. I would like to try and make. I think it's a avoid detection, the like sneak check.
Okay, avoid danger.
And yeah, the avoid danger. And what I am trying to do is get close, but I'm hiding myself by covering my dead rat fur carcass in a whole bunch of dead things. And I'm going to necromantically animate them so it looks like I'm just a dead rat being feasted on by
And just
the
kind of
natural
hide in the
things
tunnel?
that and like sort of do the Wile E. Coyote / cartoon, the bush is there and then it moves, and then when he looks it's just the bush, so it's like there's this corpse dead rat being eaten, and then I move and then I stop and then he looks and there's just a corpse of a dead rat being eaten by bugs and stuff, and then I move.
I'd like to try and help this by just like shouting inane things that are vague translations of what Zap is telling me are being said, to try and try and make a distraction with my my tinnitus.
I'm actually going to try and sneak towards them too by using Kip as a bush in a very similar way. I'm just going to hide behind Kip, and as he is a myconoid like everyone else, we're just going to like put him in front of my face.
And just to set the scene, you guys don't have any way to communicate with the adventurers. As far as you know, adventurers can't understand you.
Yes.
I'm still just going to shout at the adventurers as if they can.
Okay, so then Chomper is at the door. Everybody else has sort of moved up to the corner and not around the corner to see or be seen yet. And Chomper is just sort of back against the wall, straight in from the door. What do you guys want to do? Because we're going to start going into sort of an organized pattern here. Not quite initiative yet, but what are you doing?
Well, that's what I said. I was like, I'm trying to head out there. That's my goal.
Okay, all right.
If we're going,
so go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, go ahead and make your avoid danger roll. I will give you the 2 dice for the 2 resources you're using, and just let me know what you roll here in a moment. What are you doing, Chomper?
Well, I was going to say, if it sounds like these guys are ready to go into the room, I think I'm the only kobold with at least a weapon, or a decent weapon. I'm thinking maybe, and because it's the whole protect the family and all that, maybe I charge to cause a distraction or to get him, tied up with me, so you guys can help get the guy we're after away. So I'll go and charge in and try to attack the big human, and then you guys try to get the other guy out of there.
Okay. Yarp does have a hammer. You know that.
Yep.
I did know that.
It's
Okay.
primarily a tool, but it is a hammer.
Can you hurt things with it?
Oh yeah.
Let's go hurt things.
What? I'm just gonna run after you, just hammer out. What did you say?
So I rolled a 4 and a 1.
Okay. All right. So
Can I?
they seem to be preparing to run into the room and engage. I'm guessing you're gonna want to wait for the distraction of that before you start crawling around
Sure.
the corner while this guy's
Sure.
watching, right? Okay. And you're going to, are you gonna follow the rat with a mushroom in front of your face? Or what are you gonna do, Zip?
So seeing that others are I'm gonna do what I do best and encourage others to get into dangerous situations for me. I would like to spend a point of zeal and use Kip the Myconid to be like, Myconids, charge! And try and get all the Myconids to attack the adventurer at once. Just
Kip might be able to do that, but you would need to get Kip to them.
Okay, that's basically what I'll do is I mean we're not in initiative yet, so I'm going to be running to the Myconid pin and trying to use Kip as sort of their lance corporal to get them to charge the adventurer altogether. So that's my goal at this point in time.
Kip communicates chemically, so it's going to take a little bit, but if you get over there, you can do that. So you're going to run in the room with these guys, but sort of break off from them and go for the
correct
room pits.
Hey guys,
Okay.
I just thought of something. So the big guy has only seen me, haven't seen you. So maybe I come out, maybe not as attacking, but maybe as just trying to get his attention, and then I'll kind of get him to pay attention to me, and then I'll get him to turn his back. So we're going kind of back and forth. Basically, I'm going to try to distract him rather than just attack him, to give you guys time to make your way into the room without him noticing you. Instead of just attacking, I'll just distract him.
It's an excellent idea. And one thing adventurers never expect is the element of surprise and singing. So I would go in there doing a sort of show tune number if I were you. Maybe do a little bit of a dance. It'll confuse the hell out of him, because if there's one thing adventurers don't have, it's the sense of tune or song. So if you just go in there like that, trust me, you'll catch his attention and he won't be able to look at anything else.
Okay, so I'm
gonna roll a cunning ploy on that one to see if I can help him out. A 5 and a 4 and a 1, so not really like a minor success, but
you have an idea that you can use. If you use it immediately, it might help. So if you go in, we'll say nonchalantly in any way, either walking in casually or walking in like you belong there, or singing and dancing and carrying on, anything animated enough and casual enough to sort of distract him, then you will get a bonus trait for doing that, but you need to do it right away.
Okay. And so since my goal is to distract him for a while, what would I be actually doing? Is that a cunning ploy or something to get him to basically put all of his attention on me for a while to allow them to get into the room?
You can do the options for that, as far as I'm concerned, are you can do talk it over, which may not be easy because you can't actually engage him in conversation. But if you succeed at that, you've sort of engaged him enough that you have his attention. Or you can do cunning ploy to simply try to be distracting enough to give anybody else coming into the room a bonus if you succeed to coming into the room with surprise.
Okay, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in just almost kind of skipping, kind of casual and singing as loudly as I can, try to make as much attention as I can, and heading straight towards him as if I'm not concerned about him at all. And what I'm trying to do is, if I do get his attention, I'm just going to kind of keep moving past him to try to get him to turn and follow me, to pay attention to me. What I'm trying to do is get him to put his back to my friends so that they have an easier time of getting in the room. and then we can try
All
to.
right. Do two things.
Okay.
Go ahead and make your cunning ploy check and see how it goes. You've got one bonus die for Zip's incredible advice.
So it's just a 1d6 then?
Unless you've got something else to. I will go ahead and give you nobody hurts my companions because you're trying to prevent that. But the more protector defensive things aren't going to apply. So you get 2 dice.
Right. Okay, perfect. 2 dice. 3 and a 1. That's a critical failure.
That is. So how is this going to go wrong? Give me an idea.
Well, I kind of picture him just kind of watching me like this. Like he's watching this little kobold come in and doing all this big thing. And at some point, he just kind of turns and kicks me and sends me into the wall and maybe knocks me out of commission for a little bit or something.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, you see, you walk in sort of doing the whistle while you work sort of thing. And he watches you. And when you start to approach him, he puts his sword basically against your buddy Fizzbib. And you stop a little bit and you start to try to go around him to get him to turn and face away. Yeah, that's more or less exactly what happens. He runs up and he grabs you and sort of throws you and has you slide on your back, almost back to the entrance of the cavern, which is exactly where you didn't want him looking.
And I just look up at the guys and go, just like we drew it up.
Well
So I'm
done.
basically back where I started, right?
And yeah, we're going to start rotating through actions. So, you guys can do your actions in any order until you're all done. So who wants to go first at this point? We're starting fresh at this point. Who wants to go first?
I'll run to the Myconids.
Okay, so you run into the room?
Yeah.
Okay. So make an avoid danger check.
4 and a 2.
4 and a 2. All right. You can get into and about halfway across the room, which will essentially, I'll give you a roll to get Kip the rest of the way into the pen. Kip knows the plan. Kip understands the plan.
Okay.
The cost for that is you're going to take a point of damage or a point of harm and be knocked to the ground, getting shot by an arrow, a bolt.
Oh, shit. There's more of them.
Or you can recognize the danger and stop. In order to do what you want to do, there's a cost. That's the way that works.
I'll take the bolt. Fuck it.
Okay. So yes, that's exactly what happened. You run in and you're surprised. You get shot in the back of the thigh. You take just 1 point of harm. Roll to see how bad that is. But you do, it was not the guy with the sword. You are close enough. You're not going to make it on foot. You can make a, we'll call it a cunning ploy check with any kind of physical traits you may have to lob Kip into the pen to start riling up the troops.
5 and a 1, so.
Okay.
But can I use a zeal to get him to do it? Like,
no, but we need to find out whether or not you die.
I don't. I rolled a 3, so I'm okay on that. I don't die.
Okay. All right. No,
I'm gonna instill Kip with zeal to.
Let me make sure I'm not shorting you guys on the zeal, since this is a system we haven't done before. Man, this poor laptop is struggling with the PDFs. This is why you should have physical books, kids. Says the old man.
I have a really bad idea, but it could be really funny
Do it.
considering everything that's happened.
I'm trying to get some myconids to charge. Do whatever you want.
All right, then I'll go last.
Oh, it says any roll into an automatic success. Ah, I could have used some zeal and saved my butt.
Okay, so then, yeah, you can use it for that. That's
But it says when you're out of zeal, though, that's bad.
yeah, because
But I haven't used any yet, so.
that's just avoiding harm. What else? That's zeal. Da. Why did you move? Never replenishes. There it is. Zeal ends horribly. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if you want to spend a point of zeal, then you can grenade without rolling. You can grenade Kip into the pit. With what you rolled, he will get there, but he's going to take a point of harm, and we're going to roll to see what happens as he bounces off the fence. If you want to take your roll, if you want to spend zeal, then you lob him safely over the fence and into the soft, mushy compost of the pin.
Yeah, I'll spend zeal to do that. Like I want to make sure that the myconids charge immediately. So that's what I'm doing. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
It's it's going to take him a little while to essentially
yeah, of course, but
spore up and communicate. But yeah, okay, yeah, you spend your point of zeal, and you throw him with oomph and exuberance that you didn't know you had in you, and he does clear the fencing and land in the soft, mushy compost among the unfamiliar myconoids. However, it doesn't turn into a feeding frenzy, so it seems to have. The initial meeting seems to have gone well. And we're going to count that as the action for Homeboy. So who wants to go next? One of you guys gets to go next because one of the bad guys did act and shot Zip.
Am I still in this round, or am I?
Yes, you are. We started fresh, so.
And I can see. I saw. Was I able to see Zip get hit with the arrow?
Yes, you do.
Oh,
and actually, that doesn't count as his action, but yeah. Yes, you know there's somebody else hiding off to the left.
All right, I'm freaking out on that, and I'm going to charge wherever that arrow came from. I'm going to use everything I got to try to neutralize that threat to protect. Because I just saw one of my own get hurt, so I'm just going to.
You're going to go in and then break left instead of going after the guy you see.
Exactly.
Okay. You run into the room and you do see that hiding behind just a pile of it's like a compost pile of the bits of fungus that are just used to feed the other fungus and aren't harvested for anything else, is another adventurer who is shorter than the other guy, and he is reloading some kind of, what a crossbow is. He's reloading one, and you come running straight up on him. I am going to use his talent that I didn't use because I spent it as his action for Zip. So because he was hidden, as you run up on him, he does basically take a hip shot and inflict 1 point of harm to you. So you do take 1 point of harm.
I do?
You do, yes.
Okay.
The point of harm that Zip took was as a result of Zip's roll. The talent that this person has is hidden is they get to reveal themselves and inflict 1 point of harm, which is what they're doing reflexively.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
And as long as that doesn't kill you, which it shouldn't because you should still have zeal.
Yep. I got 5 zeal.
Attack.
I want to get violent.
Okay.
I want to use my talent, nobody harms my family. I want to use my tool, human dagger. I want to use my motivation as protect the pack. and I'll use zeal if I have to.
Okay.
Or do I have?
Um,
Well, I guess we should make the roll first, right? I mean,
you should, and make sure. Did you make your harm roll and roll over the harm you have?
oh no, I didn't do the harm roll.
Yeah, do that because you took a point of harm.
Yeah, I beat it by 1. I got
Okay,
3.
so you're good. So you don't have to use zeal for that. You have 3 dice to attack this person. Roll and see what you get.
You're going down. Or you maybe not, but 5, 3, 3.
CEO.
Oh yeah, so you're definitely going to use some zeal to make sure I auto hit him.
Okay. So you're going to use the zeal for a 6?
Yes. So that brings me to 4. Is it 1 zeal each time you do that?
Yeah, but it counts
Okay.
as a 6.
All right, so there we go.
So for a 6, you get to choose 2 things off that get violent chart.
I give harm, and but if I say I don't take harm, that's for after the hip check, right?
He's going to inflict harm on you for attacking him. There's an exchange. So you're going to take a point of harm as he pulls out a short sword and defends himself, unless you avoid harm. Or you can,
Yes.
with a 6, if you pick 2, you can inflict 2 harm on him if you want.
I was gonna do, yeah, let's do that because I'm trying to take him down as quickly as I can. I'm basically in a rage at this point.
Okay. So you do take 1 point of harm as he defends himself. You inflict 2 points of harm. The first one, well, actually, it's enough that you're on him quick enough that 2 points of harm is enough to take him out. It removes his talents, which are essentially their hit points.
I made my damage roll too. I got a 6.
Okay, good. So he does, as you run up on him and you're cutting him with your dagger, he does actually slice you with his sword, but he's shorter than the other guy. You're actually able to push and impose on him some, and you win the combat, and he is out. So what he shot you with the crossbow, you kept coming, and he pulled out a short sword. How is it you want to take this guy down?
So the way I pictured it was, yeah, I mean, so like I went charging at him. He gives me a hip check that knocks me off balance, but I kind of roll to my feet, and while he's digging his sword out, I basically like just dive forward, and I kind of just I kind of slide underneath him, and as I get underneath him, I just jab up, right straight up into his like that, and just try to get it, and just gut him basically.
Right. So yeah, he cut you a little bit, but then he's not expecting you to come underneath him, and as he's trying to adjust, yeah, you essentially get to cut him and disembowel him, and he's done. All right, so
Chomper's so happy right now.
Can I put my hand in his stuff for just a quick moment, and then put a hand pin on my face?
And sure. All right, so
I'm in war mode.
the guy in the middle of the room that was with Fizzbib is, because it's all happening sort of in the moment, is sure his buddy is going to be fine. So what he does is he runs over and tries to attack Zip, who's in the middle of the room and has been shot, because that's the only other person he sees. So make an avoid danger roll.
4.
4. Okay, so you're either going to take a point of harm, or if in order to, what the cost is to succeed. Okay, so to avoid the point of harm, you're either going to take a point of harm, or in order to avoid it, you're going to have to run the risk of continuing the rest of your trip and throwing yourself into the myconoid pens, which is akin to you to like diving into a pig pen. You're not sure how they're going to react.
I don't trust Kip and his ilk. I'll take the point of harm.
Okay. So he does run at you. He doesn't get you with his sword because you're kind of already on the ground. So what he does is he just kind of runs up and he kicks you and you skitter for a little bit. You take 1 point of harm and see whether or not
I'm
that's
okay.
the one that matters.
I'm okay.
Okay. So we still have Naz and Yarp.
Mind. I'd like to
Naz
go.
wanted to go last, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So running into the room here. I'm gonna use my mastermind perk to discover. Oh, look, there's some netting here holding, that's been used to like hold in some mushrooms as like a part of a fence. And then with my malicious repurposing, this net is very quickly going to be or this fencing, I should say, is going to be repurposed as a net. And with my motivation, I see that this guy is attacking. My motivation, all for one, one for all. I see he's attacking Zap, and we can't have that. So I'm going to take this fencing and throw it like a net over this adventurer to restrain him and prevent him from doing more attacking.
Okay.
Mhm.
So let's call it a get violent check. And what we'll do is have them get out of the way. And the way we'll loosely interpret that is until he gets himself free of the net, that's really the only action he can take. So it'll take him at least one action to throw the net off instead of continuing to waylay on Zip.
Perfect. That's enough time for the mushrooms to murder him.
Okay. So put your talents together and make your get violent.
3d6.
Oh no!
Wow, that's spectacular. I rolled a 1 and a 2 and a 1.
Okay.
And so the word I'm going to give you is tangled.
Okay. All right. So you're in a hurry because you're worried about your friend getting cut. So what you do is you cut one end of the fence and run to the other, and you cut the other end, and you're getting ready to just sort of spin and throw this thing because it's got to go really far. You don't have time to run with it. So you cut the right side, you run over, you cut the left side, and you go to spin and throw it, and one of the bottom left isn't actually cut all the way, so it stops and you lose your footing, and you end up tangled up in the fence, and sort of the fence is still attached to the fence post. You're not mummified in it or anything, but you're on the ground and you've got arms and legs and stuff through it. So.
Yep, I did to myself what I wanted to do to him.
All these great ideas and just
execution.
They
all right,
backfired.
Naz.
Great.
You wanted the end of the round. What are you doing?
So Naz knows a secret that he's been keeping. And it's really what the Dark Recycling Project is all about. And he is going to pull out Yorick and look at him and say, so he knows a secret, and we've all been dancing around it this whole time. But he's going to reach into his bag of dead things and pull out Yorick's skull. And he is going to say, "Whack havoc and unleash the fowls of war." And he is going to do harm and say, "Unleash the Quacken!" And I'm going to spend a point of zeal to summon the Quacken.
God.
My necromantic Hydra duck.
Oh, no. All right. Yeah, with a point of zeal, there is again there's another pulse of
Telling
magic
it to attack the guy.
tangible to It doesn't appear immediately in your presence, but what you do hear is from the cave that you guys came in. There's a low pattering, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, and then there's this really unearthly kind of church organ low. And then it comes in like a 3-key chorus. And then it comes in like a 5-key chord. Multiple just undead heads of geese and duck start coming through the opening, and there is a quacking in the initiative order now. And yes,
Nice, you maniac!
Yeah, it's borderline
It's not worth
traumatizing.
it. It's not worth it, Naz.
And we are at the top of the order. Who wants to go first?
Can I get the mic in its charge now?
Make a. You know what? With whatever talent you want to throw into it, we're gonna call it a talk it over.
Okay, I'm gonna put
see how well they do what you want them to do.
Kip and knowledge of everything, where I say, hey, mushrooms, this guy here, he's not a fun guy like you guys are, and I know you're a fun guy, and that Kraken coming is not a fun guy either. So I think you need to put some roots down and really, really stretch your limbs and just take root in this guy's body. Because, yeah.
No
6.
compost jokes?
No, 6 and a 5.
Nice.
6 and 5. Okay, so, yeah, they sort of smash and thrash and discover that they actually can't get through the pen. It's built well enough that it holds them in like it's supposed to. But it occurs to them, maybe through some outside influence from their buddy Kip, who's clearly more worldly of a fun guy than these guys.
Of course he is.
That they can form a wall along the fence and bounce right off each other and go over. So most of them get out, and they do all sort of swarm this poor guy who's getting himself out of a net. And there's no point in rolling. But between getting pounced on and nibbled on by myconoids,
the
and
Quacken
every little
and
bit,
the myconoids.
every little bit where he's got joints in his armor or leather or whatnot are getting nibbled on, and yeah, the Quacken stomps over and stomps on him once or twice, so he's flat, and then it's just a series of bap 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 as they're kind of pecking at him through his armor, and it's done fairly quickly because there's really not anything he can do about it.
Yeah, Kip, you put another performance like that, and I may just promote you. But I may. But I won't.
Kip is perched proudly on one of the fence posts, just standing as tall as he can with his little
Captain Morgan style, like.
Yeah. Like for his moment, he has his little army, and he's proud. And then there is a Quacken wandering about, and again, scene ends with Yarp tangled in something.
Right, it feels right. This is where Yarp belongs.
This one you can shimmy out of yourself given enough time. The wire was different.
Mm-hmm.
And you do find out, you take a moment because you need to know, you cut it free, and you could have thrown it far enough. So you had a great plan. You're sure you tested and you know. You were just in a hurry.
Well, listen, all of his plans are great plans. Just some of them backfire.
It is time for the quackening. Let us venture forth upon the Quacken out into the world and release our terror. It will be our tribe's time for glory.
Unfortunately,
closing speech.
it's the Quacken's not going to really be able to go anywhere from here.
Oh.
And you know the creature that is the Quacken responds to the summon, but has no master.
Yeah, the Kraken has the master.
We've got to get out of here. We've got to get out of here before that thing gets hungrier.
I'll dismiss it.
Can
It has
Chopper
no master. You can't dismiss it.
Or we have to fight it. Now we have to fight the Quacken. I don't know. Is this are we going, or is this where we're calling it?
I think based on the time, this is where we're going to call it, because we are a little past what we well, no, we're right at where we negotiated. So yeah, we will wrap. We didn't get right to where I wanted, but yeah, this is good for. We'll pick it up next week. We may get to add Jillian back in for the shenanigans, and we'll see whether or not we go another week, depending on what plans are or how much fun folks are having with this silly game. It's fun to just sort of be absurd. It's definitely not a serious game,
right?
but we'll see. We'll see how everybody feels. We will be doing this again next week. We did have Duckberg, who rated us before, just rated us with a group. I hope your stream went well, Duckberg. I hope you guys had fun tonight. The game we're playing is called For the Dungeon, and it's an incredibly silly, very mechanically simple game. And these guys are just a little troop of hapless, very, very unlucky kobolds that are living the kobold life, farming fungus in a cave and just dealing with the unfortunate circumstances of pretty much just being a kobold. So we've been having a lot of fun with it. We're going to do this again next week. I don't know if it'll go further. We'll see. We should be back to regular scheduling soon. Gasland should be coming back to the channel soon, I hope. And in fact, James, that's one of the things we're going to have to get you and the folks in your household that were interested in it over for a game and see what you think of it. And we'll probably just do the first game with the learning curve and everything, just as a casual game with us. And then if you guys have fun with it, include you in the regular rotation. But let you try the game out first.
Absolutely.
We are going to wrap up. It is late. Or what was that?
I said you guys are fun to game with.
Yeah, so are you.
This is a really
game,
good.
I feel like, yeah.
This is a really good group for this game. We've had a lot of fun just being absurd, and I think we have a good combination with it because it doesn't feel to me like anybody is getting grumpy about the absurdity getting a little out of control and maybe slowing things down. You guys are all embracing it and engaging it, which is perfect. If we're all on the same page and we're having fun, then that's what you want from this hobby. So it feels to me like we're all having fun with. It took you 30 minutes to get down a tunnel with a couple of mushroom traps, you know. But
it's longer than that, actually.
Yeah, it was fun, and you guys engaged it, and it was absurd, and we had laughs. So I think everybody enjoying it is the important part, and it feels to me like we're there. And I don't know why my camera is off, but we'll turn that back on. Everybody is engaging it and having fun. So yeah, it's I'm having fun with it. It is a silly game. This is definitely one I want to revisit at some point. But we are going to wrap up. I don't know if there's anybody. Let me peek. Do we have anybody that we know that we would raid? We do. I'm gonna raid out to a channel of one of the video gamers that we like to support and have a relationship with. Their name is Knitskull. They usually do Dead by Daylight or other silly games. They have a lot of channel interaction, and they have a very good community, and they're pretty fun to watch. So folks that are willing to stay for the raid, say hi, let them know Mythical Family is who sent you there. Shout and send emotes and everything, and yeah, give Knitskull a few minutes to make you laugh, and you might just enjoy the channel like we do. I frequently lurk on their channel and watch when we're not streaming. The community there is a really fun group of people, and Knitskull is really hilarious. They have sound effects and stuff set up in their point store to startle them. and whatnot for channel interaction, and they're just fun people. So let me go set that up. Thank you to everybody who sat with us on this one, and I hope you guys had at least as much fun as we did, just having fun kobold absurdity. Check out Andromeda Adventures, Frosty's channel. Frosty and Nick are regulars there and stream several different games during the week, I think. I know they play lots of games. There are, I think, at least 2 that you stream each week, right? There's probably more than that.
No, right
one,
now
and then
we
we're gonna do
are.
Star Trek, yeah.
Right now, it's just in Dara the Second Age,
I thought there was
which
one
is going
other.
well. But it's on a break due to my vacation and a couple of players' schedules over the last few weeks. So we're doing a Alien campaign, sort of cinematic. They're called cinematic campaigns. They're just extended one shots. But that's what we're doing, and they're doing. I won't be there this week, but they're doing the 3rd session of that. And then we'll be getting back to Andara next week, I believe. And then we've got Star Trek as soon as we finish our sort of pre-production play testing and figuring everything out, which I'm really excited for. I think Star Trek Adventures is going to be a lot of fun, and we've all been working on it so hard and kind of really getting it going and getting our feet on the ground and getting a feel for everything. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it too, and I know so is Kira. And there will be more things coming with James as well. James authored the game Blood, Sweat, and Steel, which I've played a couple of demo rounds of, and we're looking forward to helping showcase that game and promote it a little bit and play it some more, because it is a fun system. So we'll be
Not quite as silly as this game, but
oh no, it's an actual gritty role playing game
Little-
that is a
little-
lot of fun.
little dark.
I'd love to be a part of it, and if there's any way Andromeda Adventures can help you out, James, we're here for you as well.
Awesome. I'm gonna get some links from Joe. I want to connect with everybody. I'm very. I want to be reciprocal. I love. You guys are so generous in helping me out and they've come over and played my demo a couple times. I want to help you guys. I love reciprocal situations. So anything I can do to help you guys out, you need a player here and there to sit and do stuff. I'd love to join you guys. You're really fun to play with.
We enjoy having you too, buddy, and I look forward to working with you more. Let me set up the raid here.
All right, everyone. Good night. I
Have a good night.
Yes,
Good
I must get
night.
sleep.
Nighty night, guys.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
late there. Thanks for gaming, Nick. I hope you had fun.
I gotta check out too. I gotta get to bed.
Same.
I gotta get up early. But thanks, guys. That was so awesome.
Yep.
Well, the stream is still going, FYI.
Oh, is it? So we're
Yep.
dropping out live.
Yeah, we're dropping out live. But
See you guys. I'm going home.
and thank you for having us, Mythical Family, me and Nick.
Yes, that
and
was
having Andromeda Adventures over. And we're looking forward to next week. Thank you for including us and collaborating.
that was lots of fun,
Absolutely.
guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was an absolute blast.
I'm glad we worked it out and you were able to join us from where you were.
Yeah.
You and I both had technical problems tonight. So, have a good night, because I know it's late over there. Ryan, always love having you back. So every time I get an opportunity, I invite you. And James, definitely looking forward to it.
Sounds great, man. You guys have a great night.
You too.
You too.
Good night.